Miss Amanda's saying shit, you fucking bitch.
You ready?
Make a proper relate.
I heard as a motherfucker.
Miss Amanda. Is that what they call it?
Welcome to another
or miss.
episode
Yeah.
of It's Lit Boston. We got LFOD today in the house.
Yes.
Gang, 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 gang.
Alex
gang,
over there in the
gang.
corner.
How you doing?
Uncle Sam in the building.
What's up?
Amanda Shea. Sam's in the building. The other Sam, our Sam, is in the building. So
Facts.
shout out to all our
How are we
listeners.
gonna do that?
What? Oh, I'm calling you Uncle Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, because that just helps me out. It helps everybody out. So we know what we're talking about.
You
Let's
could do
go.
Unc if you want something shorter.
Oh, okay. Can I say White Sam?
I'll accept Samuel. I'll accept Samuel.
Okay, Samuel, for real?
Do you really like Samuel? Because I don't
Yeah,
like when people
like-
call me that.
Yeah, if you really
I hate when people call
step
me that.
into it, it's a power move.
Ooh.
Because you're giving them a nickname off rip with Sam.
You guys
So
can
you're
call
like-
me Kenneth if you want.
Kenneth? That's what we're doing?
I'm working on it. and I'm
Everybody
not-
was-
No, it sounds I kind of understand it now.
So why'd you go with Alex? Hold on. Let me get my shit off. That gave me fucked up. That gave me fucked up. Hey, listen. Shout out to all our listeners. To all of the viewership on YouTube, Anchor, thank you, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes.
So,
Everybody listening. And quick before we start, the women of the carpentry world were coming at me. So I just want to say shout out to y'all. Shout out to Michelle. Thank you to Caitlin for helping me through my apprenticeship. You know what I'm saying? You got me through 2 years of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, for real. She helped me out. Like,
Congrats, by the way.
yeah, oh, thank you. I didn't think I was gonna pass. I didn't think I was gonna graduate, but you know we finished it through.
what's going on?
So shout out to all the women carpenters in the union. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We need y'all. We want y'all. All right, what's up? What's going on? I had to get that off because
Look at
she
you
came at me.
listening,
Right?
internalizing it,
You know?
growing.
Hey man, that's all I said,
Beautiful.
man.
Perfect woman.
Yo, listen, she came at me hard, fam. She's
What'd
like,
you do?
oh, so you gonna just shout out the men? I was like, well, my bad.
Gotta respect the women.
Gotta respect the women. It wasn't even like that, but you know, thank you, Michelle. I needed that ass whipping. That was a verbal leashing. Thank you. You know, but what's up?
A whole lot of apologizing.
Yo, I felt so. She was right. No, she was right. She was right. I shouldn't have just. But it was my man's. I had to, you know, what I'm saying, give him some love for that shit he did. That's all. What's up?
was good.
What's going on with y'all?
Chilling on the Saturday afternoon.
Vibing, drinking some mango smoothies.
Yeah, these are delicious.
Mango
Very delicious.
smoothies
Scale 1 to 10,
are
how good
lit.
is it?
What?
Scale 1 to 10, how good is it?
9.9.
Probably
Really?
7.
10 maybe.
7. Okay.
Honestly,
Look
this
at
is
that.
I'm cool. He said that, but no, he said
Nah.
7. I was like, I
He
don't
was
know
like,
what's going on.
Yeah, he got hype. He's like, 9?
He's 9.9.
He's like, 7?
Like, hold on, son.
Nah,
7's
man.
good. That's way above average.
No, it's very good.
He's like, I thought we was vibing.
I
Like,
appreciate it. I
Get a
appreciate
vibe.
it. And working. I haven't been this in a while.
Yeah, like,
I would give it a hard 8.
Heart 8?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
You know
I'm
what I'm
looking at you,
saying?
son.
Like,
I appreciate you,
know what I'm
man.
saying? Like,
Thank
it's
you.
really-
It's been a while since I made it. I'm glad y'all enjoying this shit.
I'm
It's a
very
nice
much.
day out.
you
It's
can't
nice.
beat the mangoes.
Can't be
No,
doing
mango's really good.
Yeah.
man.
Appreciate that.
It's beautiful out though. This is awesome.
That made me so happy this morning.
Yeah.
It rained last night,
Yeah.
and I was like, I love the rain. It was nice and warm. It was like a cold rain.
you stood outside in
I
the
stood
rain.
outside,
Yeah.
I stood outside and
Naked.
just not naked. Relax, man. I ain't trying to go to jail. I stood outside and I was just leaning against the pole. I was like, this is some nice rain right here. And I was maybe kind of high.
I was about to say, you had to be
I
high.
was
You
like,
look for the
yeah, I
ball.
was
Like,
like, this is nice, you know. It was cool and all of that. My son went outside. He ran in the rain.
Okay.
He enjoyed
Was that his
himself.
first time?
Nah, you know, it was. He wanted to get out the house. You know, it's like you let your dog out.
Your mother wasn't, his mother wasn't
Your
home.
son-
Nah, it was just me and the kids, yo.
Sounds like it. Oh my god, she wouldn't let that shit happen.
It was just me and the kids,
How old
yo.
is your kid?
Yeah, he's 3. He was here earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 3.
Elijah.
Yeah, well, I have 2 daughters too, 2 older daughters, but
Should be going out
they don't
to
mess with me.
Yeah.
Listen. So how y'all been, man? Y'all been moving?
Good.
Yeah.
I started jumping rope today.
Really? 2 feet or 1 foot?
Both.
Wait, what's the difference?
Because you can, you know, some people just jump like both of their feet at the same time.
Yeah.
You have to be skilled to do both feet.
Yeah, this is my first time.
Like running in place?
No, it's
Yeah.
like a hop step, like a
Yeah.
boxer step.
It's like boxers and all that. And then
Oh.
you could like twirl around, you could do circles and all that. You could run. Do
So
all
you
that.
started that today on
Level.
artist?
He's talking about an expert.
As an expert?
No, I started. No. That's what he does.
Yeah.
I started out like learning to jump rope.
Oh, okay. What
I'm
made you want to
getting
do
into
that?
it. Well, so we have a family friend who's been like teaching it forever, so it's always been in my peripheral, and I've been just looking for ways to stay in shape at home and stuff. And then I actually started Googling jumping rope. It's
Great cardio.
fire. It works out your brain and your body
Yep, your eye
because you're
coordination.
jumping and you have to time it and
Coordination?
It uses
Yeah.
spatial awareness and shit. So your brain gets the workout.
Yep.
15 minutes is the same as an 8-minute mile. I
Mm,
like that.
facts.
Wow. And I'm about to be jumping around all summer.
So wait, how long do you jump rope straight?
I did 15 minutes today, but like I couldn't.
Straight?
No, I couldn't keep it
Okay,
straight.
yeah, I was about to say.
I'm still, dude. My shins,
challenging.
like couple minutes.
Jump with
That's
your.
so whack.
Do you catch your feet a lot?
I was pretty good. I only caught it every. It depended. Like once I got focused, I got better.
Jump in your socks.
I can do like
In socks?
6 in a row.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Like
a little bit
6
harder.
times?
I'm always
Respect.
like, yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
try to jump and rope, and I can never get it, and I'm just like, there's no way
See,
to
talking
work
over
out.
people without the headphones. We're having a conversation. How to jump rope. And he's like, I did it 6 times. I did it 6 times. I did it 6 times.
He's trying to get it in. And Amanda's just laughing
I
at
started a
him.
cross conversation. It's my fault.
I'm just watching
The listeners want to hear like 1 or 2 voices at a time.
Wait, do
Yeah.
you know how to jump rope, Amanda?
I do.
Okay. Double Dutch?
Yes.
Okay. I
And-
respect.
Black she is,
Right.
bro. She's been
What
great.
does being black have to do with learning how
See?
to
See?
jump
I
rope?
wasn't taking it there.
I know you.
I
were.
took it there. I took it there.
I know
I
you
took
were.
it there.
I
I
can tell you.
actually was. No, to be honest with you, I used to be a gymnast.
Oh.
So like,
Yo, how old are you? Like, you just done mad shit in the show.
Yeah, I didn't know
like,
you was a gymnast.
fam,
You was
like,
here before. You
come
never told us
I
that.
mean, I was here before, but y'all didn't ask me about my childhood experience.
I mean, that's a
You
little
didn't
iffy to ask
me,
anyone.
Right.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
right.
You didn't ask
Well,
me.
we were getting to know each other when you first came.
That's true. That's
That
true.
was the first time we actually met and
Well,
had a
and
conversation.
now,
we got.
and now you know that I used to be a
Exactly. You know what I'm
gymnast. So you know.
Y'all have been around for. Last time I met up with Sam for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Was at the Hojoko spot.
Yep. Shout out KBX.
Yes, that was a dope event we went to. That's the first time we met, and I found out you guys have been around for 5 years.
That's what we're saying.
That's what you're saying. So what's the real?
This is season 5. I don't know. Like I'm not good with like when I started doing stuff. I just started doing it, and then that's what I'm doing. You
Okay.
know, I didn't think it was gonna be a date I had to remember at the time.
No, it's true.
So,
True.
That's real.
But we've had the logo for 5 seasons.
Okay.
So
How do you guys? How's the reception been? I know you are everywhere, and there's a lot of things that people don't know about you.
me?
Yeah. I mean, you say you don't because you rap, you do music.
Yeah.
But you say that when people come on, you don't really know, you don't speak on the fact that you do music.
Yeah, that's just because I never wanted to like be building the platform for myself. Like I'm very into like I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who move with a lot of conflicts of interest and I don't know, ethics maybe how I approach it and like you would see people who might there's always promoters who rapped who would like book shows so they could have a show. And I always thought that was kind of lame, and I never wanted to be like, you know, using it as a vehicle for
You just want to
myself.
give other people. The
I didn't want to
platform.
build it and then start. Oh, now we're playing Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Like, now that like people are tuned in, so I didn't talk about it. But now it's at the point where like if people find out, they'll let me know.
Okay.
But I never wanted people to think they could trade like a verse for an appearance or something. Like, I wanted my merits to be good in each.
Okay, that makes sense.
places.
Yeah.
Nah, Sam talking his shit like, nah. You gotta pay for this over here. No bartering.
Either way, yeah, exactly. Like but that caused its own problems because I'm like living mad lives, so I'm trying to streamline it a little bit too.
Just want to get to it. What's up, Alex? You said your name was Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Your real name is Kenneth Government.
Kenneth Alexander Ball.
Okay.
So you down with LeVar?
What?
LeVar Ball.
Never lost.
Yeah. Not one. Ball is like.
So you're the guy behind the camera most of the time, from what I'm hearing, from what I heard.
I'm not really a camera guy.
You're not a camera
Just
guy.
that night.
Just that
Yeah.
night. So what do you normally do?
I normally talk like this. Yeah.
He's never listened to the show.
No, I have listened to the show. He's never heard his voice. He's not.
Yeah,
I don't hear. I hear y'all two.
He's the guy who goes, yeah, that's cool.
See, I'm not gonna remember that.
Right.
Yeah, he can't be an ad lib. I'm not gonna remember that ad lib all the time. If I don't
You
hear it
don't
all the
want to
time.
say it.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's cool. Cause that's what I thought. I listened to the
We
Bobby
started our
Banks.
meditation session.
We talk about
I'm
meditation
the
a lot.
head
Yeah.
yoga.
Okay.
Been meditating for many years.
Really?
Yeah.
You teach classes and all that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just private practice.
Why do you what?
Practice?
Yeah. It helps. It helps.
I didn't know why you didn't catch that shit. We said it.
Private practice.
Like, how many women?
He's the dancer in our squad.
Really?
So
Yeah.
he's the
I want
dancer.
to try to bring the dance world into the show a little.
Yeah.
You know, just shout out some events. See where. Yeah.
What kind of dance?
Hip hop.
Okay.
What kind of
Popping.
hip hop?
You
You crump too?
Oh, he crumps like a motherfucker.
You serious?
A little. Yeah. I'm
Yo, this dude's mad humble over here chilling, man. He's like, nah, you know, chill.
I'm dipping my toes right now, but like, Yeah, crump, hip hop, like sort of just classic type. And,
Like b-boy type shit?
No, I can't break dance. Just
Okay.
like mostly on my feet stuff.
Okay.
Ground movement is important, and that's like, you always want to expand to different areas and explore new things.
Y'all are funny.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit's hard.
Y'all
Y'all know he danced?
Takes
For
a lot
real?
of time.
Yeah, we
It's a
do.
lot of dedication.
Y'all should have. Yo, are you serious?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we're trying to keep his talents on the low. Chill,
No, not at all.
She's like, chill, show. What
He
the
told me
fuck?
I have to do an extra bar soon. So.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna just
yeah,
blast off.
yeah.
It's
Hell
our
yeah.
program.
It was supposed to be like a surprise.
He broke. Yeah. That's why we don't
But,
tell him stuff.
You know, like it was supposed to be a surprise.
You could
'cause,
tell she was like-
That's how we wanted to highlight it,
Well,
you know.
should've
But
told me.
you got
That's
the drop. You got the drop now, so you know the exclusive.
So y'all look out for that.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh, shit. Why'd you join LFOD, Amanda?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
that is a great question.
You like how I just...
Yeah, I didn't like how fast you did that
Yeah,
transition
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, you
Mhm.
should have gave me like an alley oop. But it's cool. I see you after this.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation. I joined LFOD for a couple of reasons. One, because me and Sam go way back, like wave caps.
Do we? I feel like I've known you. Oh, never.
That was a little moment.
Whoa.
We really don't. Actually, we don't. No, Bakari JB is like one of like my like bestest friends, and he would always talk about Sam and who LFOD was and what they do. And
Show's just fucking up shit.
Nice.
We good? Continue what you were saying. You good?
He asks a question and then just
Yeah,
destroys
that's-
the set as he walks
Okay,
away.
cool. So.
Bezo, shout out to Bezo.
Yeah, shout out Bakari JB. Long story short, I just saw what Sam was doing. He's been doing it for a really long time. We started bumping into each other. It seemed like more and more and more. He needed somebody to join the crew. I have done radio prior to LFOD. I was on WBZR. It was like, I think the station was like 10:40 a.m. radio. So they actually, the station now is 98.1 urban
FM.
FM, yes. So it went from WZBR to 98.1. But I used to be on the station, and I missed radio, and I also missed interviewing people. I feel like sometimes like you'll listen to interviews and just people sometimes just ask like the same questions, and Breakfast Club used to bore me like that too at a certain point where it was just like, okay,
Repetitive
like
shit.
I can look this up through, like I want to get more personal if the artist like allows that, you know. And I also knew a lot of artists in the city, so I'm like, well, this is a really good opportunity. Sam has a really good ear, and keeps his, you know, he's an artist himself, so he understands from that perspective.
And we don't ask boring questions.
And we don't, and
If
he
you
does
can
his
Google
research.
it, we're not going to ask you about
And
it.
he does his research, and the team themselves, like I knew Priscilla was on before,
Yep,
and
and
Taz was on before, Tia up at the station, Alex had just joined, I knew Tayshawn was on, so I'm like, I'm within good company if these people, I know them, you know what I mean, and I see what their movements are, and I also like know what their morals and their compasses lie. So it's like, well, why wouldn't I want to join?
No, that makes sense.
Join.
We're happy to have you.
Join the family.
Happy to be on, Sam.
Wait,
And Alex.
what would you say is you guys' focal point though? Like as a collective?
Raise your voice, fam.
What do you
You
mean?
can hear me. Like like what do you guys try to focus on? Like just artists?
No, I think it's expansion at this point, and like trying to keep up with the artists. You know what I mean? Like technology is evolving so fast with like the scene, and people need platforms. So I think Uncle Sam can like elaborate on that, because
Yeah. No, I would say it originally started because you don't have to be like looking at the Boston scene very long or the New England scene to realize how much talent there is. Like you would meet someone and be like, this is my favorite rapper. And then you'd meet someone else the next day and you'd be like, this is my favorite. Like there's always somebody.
Yeah, there's always someone different.
But I realized nobody was, like there were so many crucial people whose stories like Mark Maron, for example, like a church early
Nice.
on. Unless you were in the loop, you didn't even know that dude existed, but he was holding that. So I was like, this dude needs a place to tell his story. Like, so we just wanted to like chronicle it, like almost like just record it. So, because I do think people are gonna, it might be a decade from now, it might be 20 years, people are gonna look back at this time in Boston music, in New England, honestly, it's really that big, but they're gonna look back and want to know what was going on. So I want to make sure, you know, we have that down. But then the goal has always been, like you said, to keep pace with the artists. Like as they grow, we need to make sure they can keep looping back to us, and we're on their level. But the whole goal is to just create and provide that platform, because I think infrastructure is the only thing that is really missing right now. And if we can create that and be a part of that, and then we always bring back the artists who have been on every year and things. We only, if you see us do other events like 24 and 24, things like that, it's always artists who have already been through. So we encourage them to build with each other and like work together, and songs happen.
You're building a conglomerate.
And then education, honestly, is where we're heading. I do want to keep talking to artists, but I also want to start doing more. Like, so we do the State of New England Hip Hop panel. We just did the Women in Hip Hop panel.
Yeah, I heard that.
We want to start pulling back the curtain on some conversations. Like, really be a place where you can have, on a big level, these conversations that need to happen, and just provide that. And so, yeah, we're going in all sorts of directions, but definitely always with the artists in mind, you know.
Why do you guys choose, I don't want to say a lot of boom bap rappers, but you guys do
rap.
talks from mostly conscious rappers.
Well, the program is called Live Free or Die. So
I was gonna ask, was that even where'd you get that from?
Well, if you
later?
it started I'm from New Hampshire, so but also like you gotta be talking about something, and we also want, beyond that though, it's supposed to be a platform for people who don't have an avenue already. Like if you're making music that can conceivably be played on Jammin' or can be played on another mainstream station, you have places to go. So we kind of want to be a place to raise other voices. But on top of that, you just got to be talking about something, because it's one of those things, like I listen to, like, people would be shocked if they knew like what I listen to. I listen to plenty of stuff. Honestly, I don't really listen to boom bap, and but it's not, there's a different place for that. There's different places for it. And honestly, because we don't really chase artists, so if you don't have clean records and you're not sending us clean records, we can't do anything with you. And
talk your shit.
It seems to be that a lot more boom bap, a lot more, like, I guess you say old school focused people are more on top of their game with that stuff, we found. So,
He's like,
but we fuck with, we don't really, and that's kind of become our sound, because we do the ciphers. We do, like, you gotta be able to rap, you know?
That's one thing I respect about y'all. Like, you won't put somebody on the spot that you don't believe can rap. I've noticed in the way you guys choose artists. It's like, all right, when you actually do that cipher, or the one you guys do at the end of your show,
the extra bars,
I'm like, you guys actually, they're all different styles, which I like. It's not the same kind of styles, but everybody can rap,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
And that's becoming like, and the other thing is, we always want to very steel sharpened steel. Like, we want to push people. So like that segment is pushing people. Like, we've had people do it, and kind of the comments weren't great, and they hit me up later, and they're like, that was dope. Like, I learned a lot about how I present and how this happens, and like, and a lot of people, it's their first time on radio that come through ours. So like, it's kind of like a step, you know, and then you can look at who's been on and where they are now, and most of them are doing things, you know.
What about you, Alex? Why'd you join LFOD? He asked me to.
And that's it.
Alex,
This is a great story.
Alex is like, he was tagged in. So Tayshawn Taylor, shout out Tayshawn, he was on the show, but it just wasn't, he had other stuff he needed to do, so he went off to focus on that. But I was like, if you're gonna leave though, can you help me find someone to come on? So honestly, we made a couple Facebook posts, and he commented and like seemed about it, and I was like, all right, cool, show up Tuesday, see what's up.
I was really not expecting that. I was like, I just comment on this status and then you like it and then like message me this whole paragraph. And I just remember, you know when you open up a message and it's like a paragraph?
You're like, whoa,
what's
Jesus.
this about?
Yeah.
And
I'm not always brief.
yeah, and then I read it and I was like, oh, cool. Like he's asking me to be on a radio show, and then here I am, basically.
Get tagged in.
Tagged in.
Yeah.
Now, his name is Sam. Your name is Sam.
I'm Black Sam. He's White Sam.
You're White Sam.
I'll
So
take
why
it.
the name Uncle Sam?
Yeah, my name's Sam, and then I put Uncle in front of it.
I always wondered that.
Like why Uncle Sam, right? Like
Yeah.
where did you get that from?
Ran out of screen names.
When I was a kid, I was like the Nomad. I was DJ Messiah for a little bit. I don't know, Uncle Sam, like,
Yo, never forgetting that.
yeah.
That's epic.
I don't know. I'm honestly not creative with naming myself. Like,
It's hard with the name Sam.
yeah.
It's
So, and I never had a because with Sam is a nickname
In itself.
rip. So like you don't get nicknames if your name is Sam. Like,
Oh, you get a
rarely-
Sam I am. That's
No
it.
one. Yeah,
That's
you
it.
don't really get nicknames.
Yeah.
So
You mean like if your name is Samuel? It's
Yeah, like
what else?
you can't get nothing else.
you already
You
Sammy?
could.
Sammy?
Yeah, you can definitely. Yeah.
Sammy?
You know, that's like a
But
child.
not
That's a kid.
like you might get a nickname that's some other shit, you know,
Yeah.
if you have
Yeah.
enough, but you don't ever
Like
get.
you got show love, so you got show enough, show you right. You got mad shit. We got Sam,
Right.
Right?
That's it.
You right?
Or black or white
Right.
Sam.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
it.
white
Like,
Sam.
like, we don't
That's
have.
it.
That's
I know,
it.
but like, oh yeah, Sam, like which one? I'm like the white Sam.
So yeah, so I was like, all right, we'll do Uncle Sam. I always fucked with my uncles growing up. Pause. And we,
I was thinking, I was like,
Yeah, I was kind of, I was there. That's borderline.
like, because the uncles were always kind of like. You gotta stop.
the Hampshire's crazy.
I was like, let me get on that cool uncle vibe. But then also, like, I started looking up the story of Uncle Sam. Like, the OG Uncle Sam was the man. He was a, it's like mad pauses. He was a meat packer up in upstate New York. And he would ship barrels of beef to the Revolutionary Army. And it would be stamped U.S. for United States. But they just started calling him their Uncle Sam. So I thought the idea of like literally supplying the revolution with like sustenance, I was like, all right, we can go off that and like kind of bringing back the old Uncle Sam, not the fucked up what it is now. Like let's talk about where this started, and then like let's
that's the origin of it.
let's try to speak for like what our generation's going through,
Yeah.
which is very different than anyone before it and likely anyone after it. So
I had no idea about the origin of your name.
You know about DJ Messiah?
No. I didn't know about
Yo, you got a DJ with that
But
name
it's
one more time.
interesting
You
that
gotta
you-
come out with that.
Somewhere.
It's interesting
DJ
that
Messiah.
you have like Messiah, which is a very heavy name,
Heavy.
and then
that
you're
was too much.
also
That was a little too much.
doing,
Saving
like-
the rap game from like that was high school.
Yeah, dudes is fighting you off rip.
Oh,
yeah, and then to have Uncle Sam, like most people don't think of the dude that's revolutionizing meat to one place.
Or where we
to
even
an-
got the name Uncle
or
Sam
we
from.
even got the name.
Right, you
from.
think about
Exactly.
taxes and the
Yeah,
guy
you think
trying to
about the
send you to
government
war.
and what it
Yeah.
represents, and like that's interesting because you're also a white man. So I'm just like, how would you be able to convey that to like somebody who doesn't, like people who don't know that?
Yeah, no, people don't fuck with me off rip. Like I've been at shows and had people be like, "Oh, you're all right." I'm like, "I already don't like your shit."
Wow.
Like, let me see what you do.
Wow.
Have you ever considered like dropping like the uncle ever?
So many Sams though.
It's mad.
So I looked into being just Samuel because like I realized like my music's become more personal. I didn't want it to be personal originally, which was like
What about Sam P?
nope. And, some like K-pop dude just took Samuel like last year.
Damn.
So I was like, that'd be kind of dope to just go full first name and go with it.
Yeah.
But nah, Uncle Sam, we're rocking with it. I mean, the Beatles was a dumb name when it started too. So
True.
you know, like it really
Forward
doesn't
thinking,
matter
like
what your name is. You know, it's what you put.
You said you were
behind it.
from. You said you were from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So how was the reception? You from New Hampshire and being a white boy coming into the black hip hop. Hip hop is black. How was the reception when you first started? Like,
Speak up.
That was not loud enough. That's not loud enough. Fuck you.
Yo, it's dope that you said that though, because I got asked that similar question on something else I did, but they were like, you must have had, like, how have you taken advantage of it and what's different and how's, I was like, honestly, I don't want to say it's been harder, but like it almost has in certain ways.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, this is the last voice people want to hear, especially right now, 2019, like not trying to hear. But honestly, it was, I don't know, like, how was it being from New Hampshire coming down?
Like the reception might have been tough.
I don't, like, no one said shit to my, it wasn't nothing like to my face besides like the one dude at the show who was like, I don't fuck with you. But
how did that feel?
It was fine. I respected that he said it.
Okay.
Like, but I don't know, like I don't really cut corners anyway, so like I kind of felt like whatever I was going through was probably what I was supposed to be.
Okay.
But I don't know, because I jumped in kind of like the Marin scene, the church, and felt it out. And I guess I don't know. You'd have to ask
other people.
Know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Like,
no,
I can't remember any like challenges.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to know. Like
like specifically because I was a white dude from
like you
said, you got to write twice as good.
Exactly. Like I've listened to your music now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I listened to that whole entire like playlist you have for yourself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, I told you during our text, I love boom bap rap.
Okay.
And the way that you rap to me, it sings to me.
Do you think I make boom bap though? Because the beats aren't boom bap.
No, the beats are not boom bap, but your flow over them are boom bap.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you can actually do that,
okay.
The beats, it took me a minute to like really vibe out to it, like be on that plateau with it. Like, all right, cool, I understand. And then hearing what you rapped about and how you rapped about it and the delivery on it made sense.
Okay.
Because one, how you rap is pretty much how you talk also. You just put a little more into it.
That's what it's supposed to be, right?
Exactly. You put a little bit like you really express yourself through it.
Okay.
So the music, I was like, okay, cool. And in my house, I play my music out loud.
Okay.
So the entire house hears what I'm listening to. You know what I mean? And my son, who is now understanding hip hop a little because I play it around all the time, when he moves, I know it's
if
good.
the kids move,
If the
or
kids
when you
move.
see, you watch the women in the room, you see the second you see the hips, that's the record.
Well, my wife ain't gonna move her, she'll bop her head.
Yeah.
She's one of those, she's like the bop her,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my son, he just started doing this.
He's with it?
He was with it.
All
So
right.
then I was like, all right, cool. Because if he didn't do nothing, he was just looking at me, I would come up with some other shit.
Yeah.
I would say some other shit. So that for
it's
me,
all about the youth.
Yeah, that for me, and the fact that, like I said, I love the fact that you're not using boom bap beats.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit in there just to keep it that hip hop essence.
Right.
But at the same time, you're in like a whole another lane. So
I like boom bap though.
Yeah, we love if you listen to his shit. Like I
you
said,
have the unreleased shit too.
Yeah, so I was also thank you for that. I appreciate
You're
it. That was a lot. I was like, oh, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like
comes out May 3rd.
So I sent it to him actually.
Okay.
You could ask him.
Yeah, I was listening in the car when I was rolling up, allegedly.
Right.
You gotta look at the camera.
You gotta look at the camera. Like, hold on, son.
No, like it's definitely different. Like you said, like you rap the way you talk. So like some of the beats were like incredibly slow for me. So I'm like, god damn, I'm about to go to sleep. I gotta give me some like up tempo shit, but I'm still listening to it though. I like it.
Like
it's just the overly slow beats. I can't do those.
Yeah, I've been on a slow wave.
Because it reminds me of The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Like I don't like his slow shit. Like,
and your tone is very like
yeah. Your mind.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be in that vibe already, like chilling. It's like a smooth ride type music.
Okay, yeah, I like driving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is. He's like, yeah, you listen with your boys, y'all ain't really talking to each other at the time. But that's not nice little music you hear in the back just driving. So that's what that is.
Okay.
The slow joints. The other joints, the ones that you're about to release on May 3rd, is actually a beat.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's the one?
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one a lot.
That one was...
I don't want to say the name if you don't want to say the name. That's why I just said the name.
Don't forget to ask. So I drop a new record every first Thursday of the month. And then I go to the studio that night and record the next month's. And then I actually record a podcast while I'm recording them, and I drop a 5-minute podcast behind the scenes, making it each Thursday in between.
So that's your vlog?
Wait. So
this is a podcast.
No, but I'm saying like you're basically doing vlog too.
Yeah.
If you recorded all that stuff, you should be like.
So cameras change how you behave.
Okay.
So
wait. This is out? Like, this is public shit that you have out?
So the playlist I sent you is all the first ones. I drop those the first Thursday of every month, like
Okay.
the last 5 months or whatever. And then you have the new one.
Okay.
And then it's yeah.
How come I haven't, like, so is there any way that people can go to actually watch these 5-minute podcast episodes where you're actually...
You can listen to them.
You can listen to them.
Yeah, they're all on SoundCloud.
Okay. All right.
There's some shit in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go listen now because I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like,
It's like a lot to take in. Like, what's this dude doing? I do too much. But
I actually like that process because I deal with audio now. So like, I don't mind sitting through and actually listening to somebody working.
Shout out
He's
to my
super
guy
eager.
Thomas. I send him my entire studio session after on Thursday. So he gets like a 4-hour audio file of me and my engineer talking and recording, and he breaks it down into 3 5-minute podcasts.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
If y'all need help with your podcast, let me know. I'll plug you in with
Don't
Thomas.
fuck up my shit, man. You know I got something going on.
I don't know what you do.
That's crazy
Don't
though.
stop my back.
Hold on, my nigga.
I'm in.
4-hour audio.
Yo,
so
Yeah, so that
Phoenix?
record, I was planning on doing that record. It's a bit more West Coast feel, but with like an East Coast. Like
Yeah,
the beat
yeah,
is
yeah.
West Coast, and it's about money, and it was ill because that was the nip thing. It just happened.
Yeah,
and,
it made sense.
and I was like, damn, like I wasn't sure if I was gonna do that song, but I was like, this is all kind of lining up,
Yeah.
You're gonna hit it over the next few months.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna have like a little West Coast feel to it.
Yeah.
The West Coast vibe is dope, though.
It is.
This is dope.
It's the
man.
right time,
Come on.
yeah.
And we all burn now, so we kind of understand that vibe and energy a little better. You definitely burning. I know you understand.
Allegedly.
now.
He still doesn't like to sell beats yet, though. He's not there. He's not.
No, he's
fully
not there. He's not fully
What?
there. He's not fully there.
I'm looking
When
for
you
that.
start wanting the slow beats.
Oh yeah, I
Because
don't.
like I know
want
producers are like, dudes are asking me for 70 BPM,
Yup,
60
that's really
BPM.
slow.
They're asking for the slow shit.
I'm used to be at 110.
Yeah,
120.
I need a bot.
Yeah.
Well, the 60 you can rap like it's 120, and then like you can be chilling for it. But then if it's live, you can turn up. So
okay.
60s are nice.
Yeah.
Y'all had what's the name of that guy? He was on y'all show a while ago. I think I hit you up about it. Where he was like, he's the king of Boston. Numera, yes. I listened to his
Shout out to
music.
him. It's his birthday. Happy birthday,
Hey,
man.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. So I listened to his music and all that. And when he came out and said what he said, how did y'all feel? Like, what did y'all was going through y'all mind when he said that? Because I liked
you heard
it.
me ask.
Yeah. Like, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, I like that talk, but I went to go listen, and then I went to go listen to his music because I want to hear it.
Did it add up? It didn't add up.
Not my vibe.
Okay.
You can't say, to me, he's not allowed to speak those terms, speak those words.
Why?
Because, nah.
What was
Y'all should have
He's
him up
good.
here and tell him that.
He's good. No, I'm telling you. Well, he's
He
hearing me
would
right
love to
now.
have that conversation.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But for me, you gotta come on. That kid, that's not. I'm not saying he's not king material,
Okay.
but for my ear, that's not king material.
Yeah.
King material, you know what I'm saying?
I don't
King
want to listen to it.
King material to me is something where when anybody hears that shit, they gonna feel it in their bones. That's king material.
Yeah.
Because when the king talks, everybody listens. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he spoke and then you listened to it.
I went
Got
to go
you.
listen. I went to go listen if he was valid to say that. To me,
But
he's not
he
valid.
still got you to listen.
Yeah. He still
You
made
know, he did his job.
At the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
saying
so-
he didn't get his job. I'm
I
saying
think-
musically.
I would
For him to
say.
say
No,
that.
I get it, but
I would
also
say he
think,
can. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
I also think like art is subjective to public opinion.
True.
And what I don't know, what he listens to or what he considers, you know what I'm saying, is like lyricism or like a really all around dope artist. Like we don't know his measurement of that, so like that's why I'm like, oh, you make this statement, word, cool. Just be clear if there's any backlash for this, which I would hope would only be on wax. Like be prepared.
It better be only
That
on
was
wax.
was like the only thing. Like I was like, oh, he said
Can we-
that. Like if I were in that territory, that would maybe make me be like, okay, well, like let's have a competition here. You know what I mean? Or like let's have like a little like be ready for that if you're gonna make statements like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a real thing.
I think he is ready. Like I mean that was first of all he can rap and you've seen him perform
Oh
too.
no,
He can perform.
He can rap.
He
No,
can
he
rap.
can
He definitely can rap.
that was all. If you listen to the podcast, LFOD Radio, it's on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, anywhere you can find a podcast. Episode 120 something. Anyway, Numenera. So
before you even finish, if you do want to know what's really going on musically in Boston, these are the two people you should definitely be listening to.
And
definitely.
Don't forget A-Ball here.
And A-Ball. He's a dancer. Let's get that out.
My word, I find that radio is a funny thing for me. Like, I don't think it's natural because like speaking out loud in a microphone immediately psychs me out. Like if I can hear my own voice in my headphones, that's why I don't want to like it suddenly makes me feel like I need to act different. And
you become very aware of the words you're saying and how and
it's just it's like a big thing, I think.
Yeah,
it is trying to step into a new platform in my life.
Yeah,
I know.
But to finish what we were saying though, real quick. So it was because of basically he felt like what he said is I'm the king, and I said really and he said the king is the most important chess piece on the board, and basically he was saying when people were talking reckless about the scene, nobody did anything but him. He was the only person to respond. He was the only person to drop records. He was the only person, and he made people make statements off of what he did. People put out, notes app apologies and stuff, or clarifications off that.
That for real?
Yeah. So that's what he was saying. Is I jumped up and did something.
And while nobody else did.
Right.
No artist jumped up and defended the city on where they come from.
That's kind of where he was at. And whether you agree with whether he should have or shouldn't have is a whole other thing. But he was saying that was his perspective.
He came at Jordan Lucas when Jordan Lucas said some wild shit.
About the Boston rappers that he
scene. Like he had to go
hold
somewhere
on.
else.
Hold on. Wait, time out. I was about to say, Amanda,
Amanda,
she's biased.
Yeah, I saw her.
She's biased already. Because you already see her defending her. She sat up and everything. She's like, well, no.
Jordan Lucas has also been on LFOD Radio Season 2. Check that out.
Okay. I said what I said. No, I mean, he's right. Sam is right. Like when he says that's what he was saying. And from that perspective, I was like, word. I didn't even know that he called him out. I didn't know that there was even a thing. I really didn't know that until he came up on the station. To be honest with you, so I thought that was interesting as well. And Joyner had said there was no scene, and I mean from the flip side of that, I've always looked on the other side of that statement well, how would he know? He ain't here, and he was never here.
That's
why they were like, how can you
make that comment?
That's why everybody was always mad when he's
you know what I'm saying?
Boston.
You can't say so. I heard this statement from someone really close to me, and they said recently they were like, I'm not gonna speak on things that I don't know that for a definitive fact, and it's because they don't want to misspeak and they don't want to gaslight anything. And I thought that was really, really smart. So with that being said, that's why I felt what he said was interesting. I was like, you know what, that's true. Why am I gonna throw out people? What you mean?
Because you're already gonna be biased. When we was talking about Joyner the last time he was here, you was defending him.
For sure.
But now that statement came out, how does that make you feel?
The statement had already been out.
Yeah, but we didn't ask you about it though.
Facts, you did not.
Yeah, Noom was after your interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, how do I feel about what? About what he said? What Joyner said?
Yeah, about the Boston scene that you're a sort of part of.
Oh, I mean, I think
They're messy. They're messy.
No, they're not messy. There's two perspectives. Y'all ain't tripping me up. They trying to listen.
Messy.
There's two perspectives. I'm not saying Numenera was wrong with his perspective. He took that comment and that's what he perceived as what Joyner had meant to say as far as that is concerned. And he went off and he said what he had to say. That's his prerogative. That's his right. There's also the other flip side and the other perspective where it was well, how can somebody comment on something that they're not a part of and that they know nothing about? I'm not going to go into Connecticut and be like, yeah, I know all these Connecticut rappers. Even if I saw their name or saw them on Instagram, I don't know them. I'm not a part of their scene. I don't know their progression. I don't know their success. I don't go to any of their shows, so I can't comment on that. I didn't switch sides. I'm just...
That's right.
I'm not switching sides.
You have
I'm
to
just
switch
saying,
sides.
there's two perspectives. I think there's totally two different perspectives.
So if Joyner's shooting another video and invite you still gonna go?
That's the question.
She gonna be in front of center, nigga.
Next topic.
Oh shit.
No, Joyner's getting a lot of like backlash for a lot of stuff that he's doing.
Yes,
but
man, he's changing.
I don't.
He's another dude who can rap his fucking ass off. He came on and we talked to him, and he basically was like, I can do this shit, you know?
He can rap.
He can rap his
was
ass
like,
off,
I've been
definitely.
doing it. He looked at it like a carpenter. He looked at it like a trade. He's like, I go in, I can do it. I'm mechanical. I'm going to go in there and...
Yeah. Nah, it's practice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, I bet you when he first started, he was trash.
Nah.
Everyone is, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think he was. I didn't think it was trash.
He's also been out
No,
for a
I said
long
when he
time.
first picked up the microphone to rap.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm about to say, nah, his
it's
early
practice,
stuff is
man.
actually better. His newer stuff isn't that great.
Because he's getting to a certain level that I feel like he's changing.
His older stuff was more personal.
Yeah.
So you can relate to it.
Yeah.
Now this stuff is just mostly
I don't know
like,
what's... He's just rapping.
I'm trying to catch a record.
Yeah. Look, bro, we're just saying that, you know, get back to your essence of what niggas fell in love with. That's all niggas are saying right now, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't he blow up off that suicide video? That was the video that really made people pay attention.
I think...
And then it was the racist video.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had the Eminem feature.
He's really
cool.
good at being topical.
Yeah.
I'll say that. He's really
Very
good at catching those waves. He's good at the viral
Crazy
stuff.
dramatic music videos too. Those
Yeah.
always caught my
What did
eye.
y'all think about...
Shout out, I
I
believe
was always
New Hampshire's in the building again. Trevor Finney shooting all those. Another New
I saw
Hampshire
a New
cat.
Hampshire cat.
Yeah. There's a lot of New Hampshire cats. Leeds is New Hampshire.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Static Selecta, New Hampshire.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
know Static
No,
was.
Leeds is, because remember we had him on. We had him on. Leeds was like our third episode ever.
Really?
Yeah, that's way before my time. That's way
There's a
before my time.
dude. There's a guy who shoots with like Drake and stuff. Who's a New Hampshire photographer. Yeah.
Oh.
Adam 22's from New Hampshire.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well?
Yeah.
He always talks about it. Nobody in California is
New
from
Hampshire
California.
cats like low key make moves.
Like,
Low-key make moves when they leave the state. When we actually leave the state, we
You
tend
gonna do
to
what
do
you have to
shit.
do.
yeah.
Damn. I know both of you.
Bodie Miller,
Who
got
the fuck is
gold
that?
medal Olympians, skiing.
Now he's
I
naming
understand, I
now
understand that shit. Okay, cool. I understand that shit. Both of you in the scene a lot heavy. Amanda,
I'm not.
I don't
out here
know.
like
I don't
her.
know how
She's
many
a-
events you go through in a day or in a week, but you're every fucking where.
You think so?
I can't go through your stories without knowing about at least 6 events
That's
that's
good
going
though.
down.
Yeah.
But that's good.
For real, I'd be like, damn. Like, I'm too tired to go through all this shit. You remember we talked about this last time we came.
Yeah.
You're a busy person.
Yeah.
So how do you choose exactly like which ones to actually go support? 'Cause I know a lot of those. are your
Everything
friends
with women.
also.
Everything women.
She does go to everything women.
Everything women.
Amanda has a crew of women that she rolls with.
Wait, hold up.
Amanda's clicky.
She is
Very.
clicking. They're good people. They're good, but just we take
I
notice.
clicked up. Yeah.
We take notice.
So the interview is now over.
You know.
Wow. So
She's like, where do I go?
to go back, because I was taking notes. To go back to the Joyner thing, I'm not switching up my answer. I just want to make that very clear. I do feel like Joyner should have known that he was gonna get asked about Boston, and he should have did his fucking research.
But my thing is,
End of the day, like, do your fucking research.
question.
What?
He might not let you in the video now.
Facts.
Answer.
But how
That's
can he?
cool.
How can he say that being cool with cousin Stiz, who's from Boston, though?
Wait, what?
How can he say that about the Boston scene when he's cool with cousin Stiz?
So
I don't think the question was really geared to somebody who's also like keen.
because they
up and
mentioned,
out.
if you saw the interview,
Yeah, at
Rosenberg
97.7.
was
Yeah,
like,
he
what about
named
Millie,
Millie's, he named
Stiz, like-
Stiz, he named
a few rappers doesn't necessarily.
he named
seem
Vintage
good.
Lee.
Right, and the thing is, and Joyner, his explanation isn't 100% wrong from an industry point. He was talking same shit we started talking about, infrastructure, industry, like you can't. He was talking from that point, but he didn't clarify that, so it sounded like he was saying no one's rapping,
Right.
or there's no artists. Like,
So that's
he
where
wasn't. You're right though. Media training is huge. Like you
It
gotta
is.
be ready if you're gonna be in front of those mics because your voice is going everywhere, and
that's
you're
your
responsible
words.
for everything you
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and that's why I had to double back on that, because I know what I said the last interview with you all, and I know where I still stand now, and I'm not saying what he said was wrong. I'm not saying what he said was right. It could have, depending upon what lens you were looking at, you could go either way. But as far as like support and like what I choose to support, I feel like support is in many different forms. So
Sho doesn't like the word support.
I don't.
Okay.
Sounds like you're gonna have a long night.
But
like
you
that.
asked me which events do I choose to support?
No, he's just saying the word support.
He doesn't like that word. Like
Why not?
we was making up flyers, and he was like, "Yo, I don't like the word support because when we talk about support in the city, people aren't out here doing that or doing their job.
They're not putting in the work to get that support.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Like there'll be people asking for support, but they're not supporting other people.
That's
there's other podcasts that
true.
we support, but they don't ever share anybody else's podcast.
I see.
If they want.
We need to start sharing more other people's podcasts.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So, I was actually I wasn't interviewed, but I had woke up on my birthday like 2 days prior. Sorry, I'm a little. Smoothies are a little. But on February 4th, I had woke up to an article, and I remember the date because it was 2 days before my birthday, and it was written by Sean Patel, and he had named me New England's woman of the hip hop woman of the year, which I thought was interesting, and I was super blessed and honored that he would even highlight me like in that way. That was the first publication that ever wrote about me ever at that point. So shout out to Sean, and he's another one to watch out for because he be out here supporting and being at so many different events. He actually got the Subway Ciphers that were happening in downtown Crossing, that's up and running again. Yeah, like he's really, really instrumental to the community. He does a lot, so shout out to him. When I had read what he wrote, he was saying like the support that I show is through my stories, and like that's interesting because that's exactly how I feel about it. It's like it doesn't cost me anything, it doesn't take me any extra time to either scroll around or even just knowing who's got what going on. Like, and I'm noticing like more people are starting to do it, like where they're resharing stuff and people are saying thank you in DMs, and people are I'm starting to see it, especially like more in the city where I'm going on some people's stories and seeing the same event. So they are rotating, which is a beautiful thing. And I feel like that in and of itself is support. As far as what I choose that I physically show up for, it depends on what the event is about. It depends on like what the mission is of it. I love music, so you're always gonna catch me out at something that has to do with music or spoken word. That's what I do, you know. So, and a lot of my friends, it's no secret, are very talented artists in the city, and I don't call myself cliquey because I feel like I can move with and navigate with anybody. There's a couple people that you may see me around a lot because those are like my inner circle, but I don't subscribe to cliques. I feel like that's ostracizing, and I feel like as soon as you do, what I'm doing wouldn't be looked at as support anymore. You know what I mean? And I think it, like I said, it costs nothing to share what's going on in the city. There's a lot of dope DJs, producers, artists, dancers, singers, vocalists, like spoken word artists. Like there's always something going on politically with the youth. Like I'm working with the kids, you know what I mean? So it's like I want to highlight all of that, and I can't physically go to every single thing. On Friday night alone, there's like 5 or 6 different things that like I know people that are throwing it or a part of it, and it's like you can't be everywhere. So the least I can do is support, buy tickets, donate tickets. I've done that before where I've bought in a bunch of tickets for a friend's show knowing I wasn't going to be able to go, but raffle them off or just give them to people who are interested in going. I mean, if you can't be there, what's $10 to Cash App someone? Most of the time it's Cash App, Venmo, and be like, here, I can't make it, but this is like, you know, to get you through. I support you. Buy something. Yeah. So, you know.
It's ill that you said that because like people complain about there's almost too much going on now.
Yeah, like you can't complain.
For how much we've been able to reach audiences though. Because like now, that's the next level, is getting everybody on the same page. And we do a lot of it. We're trying to have the calendar. Like, how do you, like, let's not all throw shit on the same night. Yeah. Because we're all talking to the same people for the most part. And everybody's gonna people have to are having to make that decision. And it's starting to have a lot. April 27th, I have like 4 things I'm supposed to do.
I'm actually not in town.
And I'm like, why did everyone pick this Saturday?
Because it's the last one.
Everyone picked that Saturday. And it's like,
it's the last one of the month.
Well, it sucks because all of these things are good. And if you guys
But everybody's throwing it on a day though because Easter's the next day.
Easter's the week before.
Oh, it is. You're right.
That's why they're throwing it on the 27th because it's the last one.
Are people that religious?
I mean,
I
that
guess people tend to go home and do stuff like that.
I don't know.
People just want to go to the club.
I just think, honestly...
This is a long weekend. You thought there'd be mad shit this weekend.
And
this
it's not.
weekend's kind of quiet.
Well, it's also Marathon Monday.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was driving around. Yeah, they
Yeah.
set that all up, too.
Yeah.
I heard there was
Mhm.
something.
So they're already blocking stuff off and things. And I think, like, it's really hard to get everybody to be on the same page. Because, like, I've thought of that. Like, okay, you make a calendar. Everybody's aware of it. But people book shows and sometimes things come up. Like, venues will randomly hit you up and be like, hey, so...
Also, people out here put on the blinders, like, heavy.
Like they don't want to go
They
support other
don't,
stuff.
they don't look at what other people are doing.
I don't think that's always the case either, though. I
It's
really
often
feel
the
like
case.
it's just...
I think it's often the case.
It's often the case. They're just like, no one's popping like this yet, so, and they kind
I
of...
By the way,
no,
by the way,
I
hold
don't
on,
think
hold on.
that.
Hold on. By the way, that shit to me is wild. That thought
You
process
see
is
it.
crazy that nobody else is popping like this right now. What in the world? How did that? Wait,
Wait, what do you guys refer?
I'm referring
who's
to like
the
people
blinders?
saying no other shit's popping like this right now about their shit.
I think it's because nothing has really broken, that, like, people are like, well, no one's, like, done it yet, so we're all in the same boat. I'm ignoring all that other shit.
My thing is, you're talking about the Boston scene.
Right.
Your shit that you're trying to do is being done on a bigger scale somewhere else right now.
Right, but it's Boston.
It's
Bro, a
hard.
lot of shit is popping though. For me personally, now
That's
that
what
I
I'm
But
like,
people will
that's why
act
I'm
like
just
shit
popping.
isn't, though. People will look. They really
Yeah.
do.
I consider
they'll
that
act
hate.
like
I consider that
I
hate.
can't say it's hate because
What?
people may not be paying attention to what you're doing.
Like, I know there's people that you rock with that people will be in another lane, will act like they don't fucking exist,
yeah,
and vice versa.
yeah.
They'll be like, oh no, that's different. That doesn't exist. Like, and
That's hate to me. Why would you put on blinders?
there are a
or
lot of
something?
hater tendencies.
Yeah.
At work here.
That's like, that's what I'm
But-
trying to like figure out. Like when people say
It's
that
so weird
to me,
because it's a
bothers.
small town. Like, there's no excuse to not know everything that's going on.
None.
Maybe not everything, but 99% of
If
it.
you're
It's very
if you're an
easy.
artist, and I hate when artists they don't see anything else. You see other shit. Shut the fuck up.
You see the post and you act
Come on.
like you didn't. and
Exactly.
you
Like
keep
come on,
going.
son. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like be honest with yourself. You know.
So that's why you can't ask for support though.
Why do I say it? Why do you think I said I don't like the word support?
Makes sense. Now.
That's why I don't like it.
Makes sense.
Because you're lying to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just choosing what you want support for. You want all the attention on you.
Support to me just is like a charity type term. I don't.
You look at the support as charity.
I can't say that.
I can't say
Not as charity, but as a term. Like, I would never say like, oh, please support us. Please, like, it sounds like.
But you're asking that when you ask people to subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you
Subscribing. and
Hey, run
supporting.
to our YouTube channel or go to
It
our
does
iTunes
help your numbers.
subscribe.
No, so I would ask you. I would just say you can subscribe, and then you'll get it easily without having to check for the link. That's for you. That's not for us. I don't care if you subscribe
Okay.
or not. It's helpful for you.
It helps you.
It helps
though.
you out also.
It feeds both hands.
Yeah,
Both hands. Come
analytics.
on, son. Don't play those kind of games.
Yeah, you need that.
Come on, son. We
It's
don't
good.
do that. Don't play those games over here, baby.
You tried it.
But,
You tried it.
but
all good.
there's a value to you. I wouldn't ask for support for something that didn't have a value. I don't know. Support is.
You
I'd
believe
rather-
in your product.
Yeah. I could
It's-
see how
it's
support,
okay to say that.
support when you are asked to support, don't you feel like you're sort of being asked like almost to give something that you wouldn't necessarily? You don't expect something back when you're asked to give support, right?
But you're asking for support anytime you tell anybody about a song and where to find it.
True.
It's the same thing.
Very true.
But
You're just not using
we're
that
talking about the
terminology.
word
You guys
support.
are semantics. Like,
Because talk
that's
about
what it
like look
is.
at the artists that use the word support and artists that don't use the word support. Different things are happening.
If you're talking about
Well, that's
later
also
on-
if their audience is known or prone to a call to action type of audience too. That
Right.
also matters because if you have an audience that's not used to
Doing all that, yeah,
doing
they're not
something,
gonna do
then
it.
you're not going to have that even if you don't use the word.
Yeah, I don't think. So I guess I thought I was on your side with this support stuff, but I feel like no one's entitled to support, and then
None.
you do what you do, and if
That's
people
why I don't
want to
like the
rock
word.
with it,
That's
they
another
rock
reason
with
I don't
it.
like
That's what he was talking about
But
today.
I
when we made
still
the
like
flight.
the word support because
No,
for
from the right
We're
people.
talking about like
I'm
an
cool.
entitlement,
Oh.
Entitlements.
like
yeah.
just because you're a dope artist doesn't mean anyone owes you a damn thing. And
Period.
once you get
Did
that
you
in your
build
head,
anything?
you're gonna be good.
Exactly. Have you built anything? Have you built a foundation? Have you put the work in? Before Amanda became who she was, you quit your job and all that you had prior. You put
Did you
work
find
in.
out what happened 2 years ago?
What? What happened?
because I watched the podcast and we're trying. What happened 2 years ago in your life?
Oh, that made you change.
Did you think about that after you left? Because I thought about that.
Because we asked that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did ask that. Yeah.
She's like, damn, guys.
My man. Thank you. I totally forgot
Uncle
about
Sam.
that. What's up?
Uncle Sam.
Did I set you
Before
up?
we get back to
I don't know what
shit.
happened. I just
Like,
Yeah,
How
thank
we
you.
just segued.
Because I was talking
Transition
too much.
Was that like? So you were talking to
Yeah,
us, so you
hey,
decided
you
to
started-
throw a question
Before
my
I'm
way.
gonna let you finish, but you started LFOD, man.
I did.
Facts.
Exactly. So this is to let everybody know who LFOD represents.
Facts.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what it is.
Don't
You
forget
are
my
the
man
founder.
Alex and
Yeah.
Kid
Right,
Company.
I'm saying, yeah, exactly.
Alex, get it.
So
We've been trying to remix his nickname too.
He's
for
Alex
a
on the
long
weekends.
And his
I
friends won't
like
let
that.
us.
Yeah.
His friends
My
won't
friends
let
are
us.
hardline in this one.
He goes by A-Ball. And I'm like, yo, K-Ball is better.
I was trying to write it down. I was like,
And
I didn't know it was
his
an
friend-
8-ball.
His friends won't let him
Everyone says
change
eight,
it.
They're like, what the hell? Is this a coke or something?
Yeah, so that's the only reason why we're having you talk more.
Why are you
'Cause-
talking about drugs, man? You know? Pool? You don't
That's what
play
8-ball
pool?
kind of stands for.
I'm corner pocket.
I'm an excellent
I
pool
don't.
player.
Are
I'm
you?
oblivious
Let's
right
shoot some
now.
pool.
I'm down for some pool.
Let's
You
go
fuck
LFOD
I'm
retreat.
play
supposed
pool?
to play pool.
You,
Sounds
you,
good.
know, you know how to play pool?
I do. I said I guess we're playing.
Let's
Yeah,
play some pool.
LFOD pool.
I'm
game,
so
pool
down. Yeah,
retreat,
this will be great.
That'd be lit.
Nice.
Before the show
Lit.
sometime.
No, that's actually lit.
That's good. There's a pool. Who doesn't
Nice,
play
we have
pool?
something to bond over.
But that's
No, we
that's
started
wild.
it to provide support, I guess you could say, to
Yeah.
provide, to uplift. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think-
that's what this is, bro. Like,
I'm just digging
I've been-
into
we've been
why you
listening.
feel how you feel about the word support.
I
the
get-
word
I get
support.
it.
It
I'm not
sounds
saying
like
it's a bad
entitlement.
word. Obviously, the word support is heavy and it's needed, but
But
it
there's
means
shit.
different
He doesn't like when
things
it's
to
misused.
different
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it's been
Like, you
misused.
gotta
It's been
see
But
misused.
that.
if you have to say like
It's used
support,
to
like
different
if you have to
people.
use it
Yeah.
as something to beat someone over the head,
that's my
to do
issue.
things,
Exactly.
you're not doing the right stuff.
No, you're not.
know? You're not.
No, you're not.
You're
Like I
you
was,
gotta look at
you know,
something.
like I
else.
was saying, like how she is now, who she's become, and
That's
is
how
becoming.
we got to asking you what happened 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice, you
Like,
brought it back again.
Exactly.
Good
You
job.
see, working. We getting
Good
better,
job.
nigga. We getting better. Boy. We getting better.
Brought it
We getting
back
better. But that's
I'm about
that's
to
what
join
it is.
ItsLitBoston.
You see how we ride? We get it all in. But no, that's what I wanted to know. Because for me, if you were to ask for support, you have the background and foundation in the rap sheet to back that up.
You think so?
Yes. Can't
I
nobody.
don't-
Okay, you quit your job a couple years ago and
Yeah.
went full time into this whole media, music thing and all of that.
Yeah.
You are seen on a lot of platforms. You know what I'm saying? You are everywhere. You are doing things. There's support for you wherever you go. You have placed that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're clicking, you have your click, but there are other people outside of that click.
Stop saying that I'm
Outside of your circle, your close, your inner circle. That's what I mean. When I say click, I mean inner circle,
Okay.
which we all have.
My
We all
team.
have, yeah, your
yeah.
team. You know what I'm saying?
Team, gang, gang.
Outside of them, there are those of us, myself and Sam included, who support you
Yeah.
because you put in the work.
Appreciate y'all.
So when I hear people who have not put in no work,
Yeah.
I don't see you on those stages performing the so-called song you think is fire.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up. That's how I feel.
Well, that's
Like,
aggressive.
That's
Very
how it is because
aggressive.
you're coming at me aggressively about your shit.
It's very aggressive.
So I gotta reciprocate that same energy to you.
I mean, I think those are just moments like that are teachable though. Like those are teachable moments. Like I feel like, and I just had this conversation last night. I was in a meeting with something else that I'm affiliated with, and we were talking about like just organic events and like organic production, and also like how to teach certain artists or like even just up and coming artists like what professional artists or maybe more seasoned artists like know about. So for instance, like if you don't know what a writer is, you know what I'm saying, like teach them what that means, or like show them the importance of sending their music to the DJ or sending their pictures and their bio to the institution. Like it's small things like that, but you'd be surprised like how many people don't do it and it just makes their reputation bad or something.
We just get the email
Or-
with the song attached.
or the
Oh,
song attachment,
really?
or like
I don't know who
I
you
just
are,
think-
where you're from,
Yeah.
anything
I
about the
think-
record.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, those are teachable moments. It's not to tell people like, oh, you got an ego or you didn't put in the work. Like, I would never criticize somebody if they feel that they're a level here, even if I perceive them as not. However, I would say those are teachable moments where I would go in and say, hey, you know, this is the perception of like what your actions are doing, and like this is the reality of what we see. Like, You know, not everything should be based on resume because I believe that
Still criticizing them.
You're not criticizing.
You're still criticizing them.
You're just telling them.
It's a teachable moment. You're criticizing them.
You're being nicer than we are. That's all.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna tell somebody to shut the fuck up.
No, I wouldn't. That's Show.
I'm telling you now how I really feel. But when I respond to them, I do use the teachable moment. Like, yo, bro, I appreciate and love the hunger that you have. But you got to do a little more work.
Teachable is way better than just the curve.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, before, like, for me, I love your music. Like, I've told people that. Like, I like what you've done. But I also need you, but you need to spread that out. My opinion could be biased.
And the number one artist gem is none of this is personal.
None.
It's never personal. If they didn't come to your show, if they didn't do it, like, everyone has so much shit going on, and art is a very emotional thing, and it's very easy to get your emotions tied to it, but how people respond to it and the opportunities and how things go, it's always business, and it's cold as fuck, and I know that jars, but you can't take it personal either way. Good or bad.
Good or bad, man. It was something I actually appreciated learning.
That shit took me a while. It was fucking me up.
For real?
Yeah, I
like how?
Taking shit personal. Like, I don't know, just it's hard not to when you invest everything into things.
I was gonna say we're people, so it's kind of hard not to take it personal.
Now, music is a personal business too. Like that's like
it's a very messy space.
Yeah,
bro, we've been busting our ass for a while, and it's not always seen, you know, and that can feel away.
I don't know. I don't feel like that. I don't. For me, like, I guess my upbringing as maybe this way.
Yeah.
I don't. Like you said, I don't feel like anybody owes me nothing. So, like,
Agreed.
If you don't pay attention to me right away, I'm cool with that. I actually like that. That puts fire in me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, you're not looking at me right now. I bet. I don't take it as, I think I'm trash. I think I need to work. I need to either work smarter or do something. And that's where it's not,
so you don't take it as not
no,
personal.
None at all.
Because
nothing at all.
People who have, well, I don't know. There's situations where if you understand the business behind why maybe you got overlooked, you can get.
I like no's.
But in a moment, like, because I felt when we did the 24 and 24, like, I have a list of every publication that
shows you
in my head, everyone that like talked about it and everyone that didn't, because in my mind I was like, there's nothing more noteworthy that happened like this month at all. Like, so, if you didn't talk about that.
But how do you expect other people to feel that way about something that you put energy into?
Well, because we had 24 songs in 24 hours with 24 artists. So if you're a so-called news station or a journalist, how is that not something to report?
That's also
but
your
if
ego,
that's
though.
also not, if that, I was
that's
just going to say, like...
There's a little bit of ego. So I'm saying that's
a lot of ego.
That's a lesson you have to learn. Like, it's not personal. They didn't write about it because the editor didn't open the budget, or this happened, or
they didn't know about it, or that's
not... they knew about it.
Or that's not particularly...
Obviously they knew about it.
Or that's not particularly the stuff that they do write about, right?
Did you tag people in anything like that?
No, they get the email.
Okay. No, social media is heavy, bro. You gotta tag people.
I tag people all the time.
You gotta tag.
I tag everybody.
Because you can't ignore a tag.
But like I'm saying, then you know a little bit more about how the city operates and how things do, and it all makes sense.
It all makes sense.
Sounds like support.
So...
like I said,
but it's not personal. That's
he
what
put
I'm
in the work though. He put in the work.
No, but I'm saying that's why it's.
But what we're trying to do as podcasts.
Yeah.
You've been around for about, you said 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So we can put that however, we don't know how many years that is.
We just got on iTunes. We got on iTunes last year. We just started, like, it's really a radio, we're in a weird space.
We got on iTunes last year.
Because we're an FM radio program too.
Okay.
So you can listen to it live and it's an FM thing. And then
what station?
It's a podcast. 91.5.
All right.
So
let's get that out there.
It's every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You can also stream at LFODradio.com.
I've done that a couple times.
And so we're in a different space. So like the podcast shit, now we're learning, this is what you do with a podcast.
Yeah.
Know? But let me segue real quick.
Do your thing.
Speaking of support. So we did, and this is not support, and I put, well, now you guys got me thinking about my words. So,
words
you should always think about your
words. I know. No, but like, I gotta make sure it all lines up throughout the episode. So we did recently want to test this. Like you just said, Amanda's been putting work, you would support her, you would do whatever. So there's a very fine
also
line.
Her personality matters.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's a big factor I think people overlook.
Yeah, no one wants to...
I'm not going to support a dick.
Right.
I don't give a fuck how good you are. Fuck you.
What about a
Unless you're the
vagina?
best. Yeah.
Nope. Fuck you too,
Did
bitch.
not look my way when you said
My
that.
Well, we're talking. The
Somewhere.
people are here. So
I'm just saying.
fuck you, bitch.
There's
I
a
don't care.
You was in my whole face with your whole finger.
There's a
My gerbil finger.
With
Damn,
that,
Amanda.
that whole statement.
Oh, shit.
There's a very fine line between people who fuck with you and support you and people who will spend money
Yeah, it's
to show that
totally
support.
different.
It's
Totally
a
different.
very
Very
fine
different.
line. There's a lot of, and we learned that when we started doing apparel. Oh yeah, make the hoodies. I want the hoodie.
Yep.
And then you hit them up like, here's the link to the hoodie that I just made because you said you wanted the hoodie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's and then with music, with everything, because artists go through that. You saw Boosie was wilding out on his.
Only 10 people bought
he
it.
had
Get the fuck
thousands
out
of
my
people
live,
on his
yo.
live,
Yeah.
and he knew what his sales were, and he was like, this isn't adding up. So there's a very fine line. But so we recently are testing this to see who really values what we're doing. Not supports it, but who values it.
Values,
And we
good word.
launched our Patreon. Do you know about Patreon?
I've heard about it. Only time I've seen
I told
Patreon
this
is with the.
motherfucker, okay?
So you
Is
know.
that with the IG models and stuff? With the,
No,
like, the new
it's
pictures and all
to
that?
help you do like live shows and also help you put out merch.
So it's like a
Incentives.
subscription membership type
Yeah.
thing.
That's the
good
shit,
for
the IG,
YouTube.
the fake IG.
That's
props you
OnlyFans, bro. That's the OnlyFans.com type
Yeah,
shit.
you're
That's
talking about
not that.
OnlyFans or
do.
something.
No, I'm talking about Patreon.
Patreon is.
There's a lot of different uses for it. So
Okay.
it's basically for people
Patreon.
that don't have. So Leonardo da Vinci, not Leonardo, Michelangelo, Sistine Chapel, all this stuff he created, all entirely because the Medici family supported him. There's a family who liked art. They were his patrons. They created all this art. That's what it's based off of. You know, sometimes you need people who are just rocking with artists. They just want them to create art. They don't want to be sold shit. So it's good for people that don't have that traditional way of making money, like selling stuff like you guys, like a podcast. Like YouTubers are big on it. But anyway, it's a subscription thing. So we're going to use it. And you go patreon.com/LFOD life. So we want to see who really
It's supporting you guys.
not support, who values what we're doing and wants to do more, because it's not just a, hey, throw us some money so we'll do it.
Yeah.
So you can set milestones on it based off how many, some people do it based off how many dollars. Like you might say, we'll invest in a new camera when we are making $1,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
We did it off how many people. Doesn't matter what dollar amount you can support at. Are you with us? Let's see how many people, and then that'll trigger different milestones that we're committed to. So, for example, 150 people are rocking with us. That's a community now.
Uh-huh.
We're doing a free concert for those 150 people.
Okay.
When there's 300 people, we're going to do another 24 and 24. When there's 444 people, we're going to start throwing concerts quarterly. You know, then there's other upgrades. We're going to do bonus podcasts if you're rocking with that content. So it's just like how many people. And then we can go, when we go to a venue, we could say we have 20,000 Instagram followers. Like, you got to give us this space. We'll bring them. Those numbers don't mean anything. But if we say we have 400 people that are signed up and they're literally putting their money behind it, every month, like,
They're gonna show up.
open.
Yeah.
Let us have this space,
Yeah.
and we can do a lot of crazy stuff. So the idea is strength in numbers.
makes
Like,
sense.
let's get us all together.
Totally
And it's
clown
not,
this nigga, bro.
Why'd you
and
tell
it's
me that?
not straight support. I thought about this for years because I don't want people to just give us money. So if you're on it, like, you can get, depending on what you jump in for, you can get. Some people get hoodies. Some people get T-shirts. You get early access to our clothing drops.
Yep.
You get promo codes.
You do mad shit, bro.
You get
I didn't know
season
that.
tickets. We're fucking around with season tickets. If you're doing the $10 a month when we start doing shows, you get tickets to all of them. You don't ever have to buy another
See,
ticket.
I didn't know all this.
I told your dumb ass.
No, nobody does it like this. This is a new thing.
Exactly.
I haven't seen a
No,
page
no,
like
no,
this.
no,
Exactly.
You know what?
I haven't seen a
'Cause I
page
told-
set up this way
Hold
before.
on.
I
Then I
I've
can
never
tell you,
seen
I,
that.
Like I tell you, you're not paying attention.
Who's
'Cause
doing
the
that?
big dogs
Season
already doing
tickets?
it. Season tickets is different. Okay, all right. Season tickets, you got that.
That's
You
what
got
I'm saying.
that.
I
You
didn't
got
know
that. You got that.
All I thought it was this IG
But everything
docs you wanna
else,
show
no.
me.
Patreon, all
What's
the
up?
big.
It's what you make of
podcasts.
it. The platform
I'm done
itself,
with
they
you.
don't
That's
sell
what it is. I can
themselves.
show you it right now. I was like, damn, they're gonna see Patreon on this real
I'm
quick.
the only website.
I
Yo,
told
that's
him, I told him about 5 months ago, Patreon.
So it wasn't big 5 months ago though.
But
What?
you got to be ready. Like, you got to, and that's what I was going to say, is like, you can't just jump on there and be like, I'm dope, people should
Exactly.
support me.
You gotta
like,
have a
you got to
following.
think out, like, what can I, the people that use it as like, oh, just support us, like, because you like us, that's fine, but like it's an exchange, and like you're getting your value from us. Like,
I
it's an
told
exchange.
him that shit
And then
too.
I never have to try to sell you shit.
I told
hate,
this motherfucker.
I hate
They don't
selling
do that,
shit.
man.
I hate selling it.
I
And
got
I want
lied
to
to
just
you,
get
man.
out of that.
Because you know how you came here with the shirts, right?
Yeah.
LFOD?
Yeah.
We should have, it's lit shirts for you, right? I told this
You could have.
motherfucker.
You
could have.
You could.
We
I
should.
wouldn't say you should, but you could have.
No, you should.
Yeah,
Because
but
guess
you
what?
also just don't want to like.
When you
Keep
come
giving
on
away
ours.
free merch.
No.
Y'all
And
can-
that's where Patreon comes in. Hold on.
Y'all can
That's
bring a
where
gift when you come on LFOD.
Exactly.
Where you
We
had
would.
smoothies for
We
us.
always do
You
when we
have
go to
a
other
nice
podcasts.
couch. You
I'm still
know.
done with you.
No. I got defended now because I always tell people if I go on another podcast, I will always bring something. I want to come empty-handed.
Number one.
I used to ask people to come to the podcast with something. Don't just show up
Oh.
empty-handed. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get. This motherfucker got smoothies. You might get smoked out. You might get free hoodies, which I used to always do. Give hoodies and shirts.
Hondo Life. Shout out to Hondo Life.
Shout out to Hunter Life because he sponsored us too.
Yep.
But before him,
That
I
was
was
our
still
first-
paying for
hold
him
on,
out of
hold on.
pocket.
Yeah.
Hold on, Sam. We gotta really give props to thing
Why? What happened?
for Hondo Life. He was the first like official
Yeah, of
sponsor.
course.
Like all the stuff we got and people got, Hondo Life held it down.
Yeah, of
I
course.
know that name.
Yeah, shout out to Mook.
He's in Atlanta
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Big time Hondo Life.
And that was
man.
me and Mook linking up, and I'm like, yo, I want to get your brand seen. I'll pay you if I need to, but I want to get your brand seen, and you can help us by giving us hoodies and whatnot with your brand on it. You know what I mean? So that way, when people come up, they'll get It's Lit shirts, and they'll also get.
Incentives.
Like shit.
Incentives. Everybody
You know what I mean?
appreciates the time.
But I'm never like the type to want anything out of it. I just want everybody to win at the same time. That's
Right.
it.
So now
The gift thing is just how were you raised? Like I was
Yeah.
taught not to show up places empty-handed,
Yes.
and if you apply basic manners to like how you move in this industry, like you'll honestly get way further. Like it's
Yeah.
stuff. The artists that bring stuff, like whether you want to or not, like it's such a nice touch, and it's like a
I don't
little
ever
thing,
want to show up
and it
empty-handed.
goes a long way because you guys have a platform. You're gonna talk about what you get. I still remember when Juan Diablo showed up with a fucking box of sandwich bags that he had custom made with his album art on the fucking box of sandwich bags, and I was like, "That's fire!" Like you literally created like. If you have good shit, people are gonna talk about it, and like why wouldn't you give it to? We don't do it to get gifts, but like it's like
Yeah.
such a little thing.
It's courtesy.
And
It's
we
just
are,
courtesy.
as y'all know, tuned in, like we have cameras pointing at us all day.
All
so
day.
if you do want to give us clothing, and if you do want to give us things like that, it's not a bad investment.
It's not a bad investment.
PAP.
We've been asking for PAP clothing, but she told me I wouldn't get it if I kept calling it PAP.
It's just facts. You're not gonna get a brand when
Well-
you're saying it wrong.
Well,
but
you
Joe
corrected me.
Holmes got some stuff. C4 got some stuff.
I'll buy it.
I don't. Just
Shout
talk
out
to
Product
Mark.
and Play.
I got that shit too. That's,
Brockton.
yeah, product and play.
Yeah.
I got
Pretty
a couple. I got
authentic
that hat
people.
too. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yo, honestly, like I was saying before,
Mhm.
there's enough Boston brands where we can all rock.
Right.
I don't see a reason
Or
why.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
When I say Boston, I mean Mass.
Yeah.
It's just like that's just
We'll
the
say
capital.
Mass and not Boston.
Okay, cool. All
Shout
right,
out to
States,
Alex
all right,
and
man. Yo, listen to the woman. You know what I'm saying? What you say?
Alex and Bila Monster is his brand.
Be
I've been
Lamar.
telling him to send me stuff.
Until they send it. To
Oh.
you.
Nah, that's a
Get
good.
his
That's a
attention.
good way
Because
too.
he never followed up on me.
Yeah.
Yo, get out.
So
Talk
now you're
your
airing
shit.
them out.
Talk your shit.
By the
Shoot
way,
a
you're
shot.
sloppy.
The
You're
camera's right here.
sloppy.
Talk your
Come on, man,
shit.
send me that hoodie. I'll give it back even. If you want.
Let me wear it once.
Yeah.
Let me get a
Alex-
photo
Let
shoot
me
off.
wear it once.
Alex is on there
I'll wear
now.
it for a week.
No, but it's dope too because like we have like John Hope out of Providence. He gave me this Savage Beauty hoodie, this orange hoodie, and I can only wear an orange hoodie so many times.
So many
But then when
times.
I'm done, I pass it off to Victoria, and she did an ill photo shoot in it. Like she hasn't dropped it yet, but like if you have, shout out to Vag by the way. That's like
Yeah.
she's
Vicky.
heavy.
I'm sorry.
And shout out to
That's the Pat you're
Christiana,
talking
shout
about,
out
right?
Thomas, shout out everybody with
No,
LFOD.
that's not the guy.
No, I'm
That's
saying
not
that's
the
the
guy.
shirt though. The
That
clothing.
is the shirt.
Pretty
He's a
authentic
tattoo
people.
artist.
That's not the guy.
But that's the guy who does the tattoos also. That's his brand. He's a short dude. He lives over by Franklin Park or something.
I'm done with this conversation.
I'm saying he did this tattoo and
That's
everything.
not the guy you just showed me.
No, that's not his guy. No,
The
I'm
guy-
saying that's the brand though.
No, that's not the guy.
Branding is crazy, by the way. Though you can literally have one photo come out like that, and then it twists your whole shit.
Yeah,
up, and
that's why I'm
people
like-
him think that guy's involved. And
Yeah.
this.
That's
We've
why I'm
had weird
confused.
shit like that where they're like,
It's not
oh,
the guy.
so and so is like, I don't like.
That's why I was asking you, because I was confused. I'm like, damn, wait, is that Pat the same as that Pat?
No, that's not.
What would y'all say for, all the brands that are out here like PAP?
Mm-hmm.
What more could we do to make them more staples in the city where everybody's rocking?
You know what I think we should do?
What's up?
I honestly wanted to throw a brunch where everybody, all the creatives can come together. Everybody can eat. We know you're gonna eat. You probably gonna eat before and after, but you can eat and exchange conversation.
That actually has happened in Boston before.
Speak on it again.
No, I've heard about it.
It took place at Black Market. It was thrown by Key.
I know that
one. It was
one.
called Brunch with Key.
I know that
And
one.
She totally did that, and I think that's a really good idea. Like, I feel like people say networking, but I think with Key, she did it very brilliantly because she listed and advertised exactly who everybody was, what they could bring as far as like expertise on what they've accomplished. Like, she had a whole list of really cool, a bunch of eclectic creators in that space. And her advertising for it and her promo game was amazing for it as well. I just think minus hers, I see a lot of networking events that it's like, I don't know who I'm coming to see. So why would I come there? And then like the tickets are really usually like very pricey, $35 to $40 because it's coming with food, it's coming with a couple complimentary drink. It's gonna be 4 hours long. They're gonna have a panel discussion, but it's like I know who the panelists are, but who are in the audience? Is there a guy from Echo Me? I'm only saying that. Shout out to Brandon from Killer Boombox and Show Off Entertainment.
Shout out to Brandon.
Show Off Entertainment.
Big time.
Shout out to Brandon. But it's like I'm only throwing out names like that because I just watched a panel discussion. But
did you go to that on Thursday?
I did, and it was amazing.
It was?
It was amazing.
I was so tired.
But that's what I mean about like advertising, like what we're gonna get. It's like I knew who was on the panel. Yeah. I knew some of the people that would have been in the audience that if and when
came back with the picture.
I'm like,
if and when I wanted to.
No, that's the ashtray. Oh, you just wasted it.
Trying to give you a drink.
Oh, you just wasted it.
Classic. That's classic.
what have you done? You don't deserve
Oh my god.
You guys, we can share this cup.
that. Oh my god.
Damn, you saw me like for a while heading in that direction.
You
Though.
poured a whole glass in there.
No, it's like not very much.
I know it's a lot. I'm hurt.
Drink that.
No,
I'm
Will.
gonna just sip the last of this cup.
Oh my god,
You're
man.
real, you'll drink that.
But that's it. Like you knew what was going to happen Thursday night. You knew what to expect.
I knew.
I saw that Isotope guy, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
Because I had the program at home and I'm working with
His
him.
name's Eric, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Did you happen to meet him?
I did, and I met what was the other guy's name too? He was from
Echo Me also?
Echo Me.
That
That's
is my
Christian.
God, Christian.
He's amazing. I met him. Well, we've seen each other in spaces before. He actually.
I want to get in those spaces.
He
man.
actually
Trying to see what's going
remembered.
on.
He remembered me as a poet first, which was interesting because most people don't remember me as a poet first. But he was like, I remember seeing you perform somewhere, and we just started to talk. So he's really cool. There was another person there from I forget what the company was.
Sonic Bloom.
There it is.
Yeah, Sonic
I
Boom,
forget
yeah.
his name, but he was really good. And then Brandon, I feel like just killed the panel. Like he really like had
Brandon knows
some
his
good information. He even said like certain things like it depends upon the type of artist that the person is on like where projections can go, and like he really understands like what's going on, and he does it on such an individual basis, which I really respect and love. And Brandon, every time you see him, like I respect him because he treats everybody the same.
The same.
Like if you've noticed, like he has treated every single person the exact same way.
Yeah.
Nobody's higher than the other person. I've never felt like slighted from him or like overlooked by him at all at any point. So like I really respect that. So
Yeah.
it was really a dope panel. But once again, like I'm saying, like I knew Sam was going. I knew Candace was going. I wasn't. I keep forgetting his name. I was just talking to him today. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. From Royalty Magazine.
I know those guys. Because they follow us and I follow them.
They're
now.
amazing. They were there. Oh,
She doesn't know their names, but
How many guys are there?
I
Is it
know
2 or
your
3?
name. I know your name.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like, why do
He
you
knows
do
you
that?
love. He knows you
Pop
love.
in your head in like 5
Yeah,
minutes.
he knows you love.
Stop thinking about
So
it.
I
they're
love
from
him.
here too.
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
Because I was trying to figure out from their Instagram like who they
and
were.
mass music movement, or mass. I'm messing you guys. I'm so sorry, but like they were at the event too, and it was like really.
Damn, I'm pissed now, yo.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. You know, shout out Dar Adams. He was also there. Devin was also there as well. I ran into him. There's just a lot of like different people, and like I appreciate being in spaces like that. So like when you say panelist discussion, or you talk about networking event, it's things like that I'm just like, yeah, like who's gonna be there?
It's important to know the audience that's gonna be paying attention.
Yeah, I didn't even honestly know. I didn't think about who was gonna be seated there, but then I met people, and that was.
I like that too, though.
Christian was cool though. I fuck with him. I'm gonna be talking. That's not the first time we're gonna talk, because like he's doing something that me and my buddy have been talking about for a while, trying to figure out if it's even possible, and it sounds like it's going to be possible. So I'm very excited about what they're working on.
And that's dope. And that's what.
Yeah, it's like, bro, we gotta talk.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what people.
And they're working with people that you wouldn't even think that they're working with. Like he named Young Money. He definitely said that he's worked with like Drake and 40 on some things. Like, so it's like you see like some people, and Brandon has connections heavy. So it's like you see people in Boston like reaching out and getting people that are in the industry, because these are people I consider are really connected to the industry, that can actually, that have a tangible reach, and they're bringing them back inside and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Going on? And I think that was the one thing Boston was missing when I jumped in and didn't know what the scene. It wasn't even connectors, because all the pieces are here. It was really like the infrastructure. Like, do we have a label here? What do those labels look like? Like, I didn't know Northeastern had a record label working out of it. They're called Green Line. I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing. There's one actually out in East Boston too. I forget the name of the one in East Boston, forgive me. I know.
You gotta stop bringing up the names you don't know.
But I'm telling you the location.
Do I know the name? No.
But I mean, it's good that at least you know what's going on.
At least I'm indicating like.
It's dope that you fuck with it. Like it's hard. That's underrated. We don't talk enough about how much pressure there is to remember everyone's names.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No, we had a conversation about that at our show with our last guest. Well, not DJ Real P, but the one with Bangers. Yeah, we talked about like how
I like his mind.
He's amazing.
I like his mind. We had a little tiff on IG a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I said something a while ago.
What'd you say?
I don't remember, but I had to explain to him like if you knew me, you know, you would understand where I'm coming from. I forgot what I said.
Why are you on his page talking?
No, he was on my page. He was on my page.
On your
we had a nice conversation back and forth. You know, it wasn't. It started off kind of aggressive with each other. You know, that's how I reciprocate whatever's given to me. You know, but I realized I was going about it the wrong way.
Don't be coming for Bobby Bang.
I wasn't coming for. I was just like my nigga.
Don't be coming for Bobby.
Come on, relax. I just, you talk shit to me.
Smoke.
If you talk shit to me, I will talk shit back. That's just the way
Bobby's not a shit talker though. He's really coming from a genuine place.
I see, and that's when I
really
realized,
is.
and that's when I realized the way he was coming.
It's a teachable moment.
It taught me.
Good.
It taught me.
Bobby Bangers has a whole bunch of.
Hold on. He didn't teach me shit. I just had to catch myself. I'm just gonna talk my shit. I just had to catch myself.
This is probably coming from New Hampshire. The most difficult thing is Bostonians tend to be a bit aggressive.
Very. Yeah.
And they are. This city is cliquey as fuck. There's no way around that. It's a major fact.
It's a fact.
It's because like until they know you, I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, what the fuck are you from? Like, I've been here my whole life. Where are you? No, but it's very, and I understand it on a certain level because I have been out of the country and had someone from New Bedford or some shit like that say, oh yeah, I'm from Boston.
Yep.
Not knowing that there was a dude from Dorchester
in
there
who goes,
where?
That's me.
And me.
Where? That's me. What part?
And then it became, because I'm from Dorchester.
Yep.
And it was like, I'm from, and then it's like, well then why didn't you say that? And like, well they wouldn't know. And so I do feel like Boston gets unfairly watered down by everybody in the area
Yeah.
because it's easier when you leave to go,
think about
I'm from Boston, and then you have a
Now,
lot
Worcester.
of there's
You
a
gonna have
lot
a
of
shirt
people,
on right now? I gotta put my shirt on.
there's a lot of people
repping.
repping for Boston who are not from Boston,
Okay.
and I can
Yeah.
understand that defensiveness of like, yo, we have a thing.
But that's why
And-
I was confused with Joyner, because if you look at his previous interviews, when people say he's from Boston, he never corrected them.
Right.
He ran with it.
Right.
So that's why I was like,
Until he was from Worcester. Yeah,
Exactly.
You know, the first time I heard them not calling from Boston was jamming. They said Worcester. They said.
Well, 'cause
I was
I've been
correcting
here-
people when he came on here.
I've been here for like, I've been living here for probably like almost 10 years.
Mhm.
And I still, when I'm traveling, where are you from? Like, well, I'm from New Hampshire. But I like came here from Boston.
Yeah.
Like, I
now
still
I'm in
never
Georgia.
say I'm
Yeah.
from Boston.
Yeah.
Like, I never.
You got
I'm
to tell people where you.
starting to like almost say it, but I'm still from New Hampshire living
It's
in
from.
Boston.
It's either where you're from or where do you reside. That's
Right.
why I ask people, like, where you reside at? Because
Right.
I don't want to hear where you're from, because chances are you.
Because you
Yeah.
can live in Boston and not deal with Bostonians, which is weird as hell.
How?
Like, you can live here for a while and never interact with people who are actually from Boston. There's a whole
true.
lot of people living in this city who don't talk to anybody from Boston unless it's like in a service situation.
It's the colleges. They just
Colleges?
the internet, like it's an international
They stick to their
city now.
circle. They stick to their circle.
You can
No,
make
that's what
moves
I
all
always
over
tell
this
people.
city
Boston
only
is
with people who
incredibly
aren't from here.
segregated. It's
Yeah.
not always with race, but it's
It's
incredibly.
segregated by class.
Yeah, all the
it's all
time.
by class.
Period.
And race, everything,
Yeah.
honestly.
But that's what I tell people all the time. That's why Boston doesn't always take off, because it's so cliquey, because everything is segregated.
Yeah.
Period. So that's why
It's
I would-
self-destructive.
all the black people be like, "Oh, there's nothing to do in Boston." I'm like, "Yo, do you go by the Charles River? Do you go do this? Do you go do that?" They're like, "Nah, all I do is stay to Dorchester and Mattapan." I'm like,
Well, you ain't going nowhere.
Obviously, you won't
Yeah.
know shit
You don't know shit.
other than the garden in fucking Foxborough, where you never go.
Right.
Can't even afford
Like
that
people
shit,
people
nigga.
who aren't from Boston don't realize Foxborough's not anywhere near Boston.
Right.
But whenever they talk about the Patriots, it's referred to Boston.
Right.
It's crazy.
You gotta go all the way down there.
Yeah, it's
too.
crazy. But I'm definitely that dude who's gonna yell out, "What part?"
Oh, same here.
What
Oh,
part?
it's funny to see it happen
It's
in real
oh.
time because I was like, damn, we were in Costa Rica, like you thought I was gonna slide. No,
Uh-huh.
like you guys are everywhere too.
Everywhere.
And-
Yo, what about Cambridge? What about Cambridge?
Yeah.
Cambridge?
Now we respect Cambridge. We'll
Okay.
put some respect on them a little
Y'all,
bit.
y'all got respect in the
Yeah, I
past
got
5
that.
years.
I know a couple Cambridge dudes. Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you
alright.
bridge side or port side?
Because I fuck with the port.
Yeah, port all
Yeah,
day.
fuck
Port all-
What's the- okay,
Hold on,
what's the
hold on,
difference?
hold on.
You're
We're
from
not-
Cambridge.
Time out.
Port, because there's Port, there's NC, there's like
Either
Coast.
way.
Oh, damn.
I don't know.
Coast
about-
Mode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
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 He knows his shit.
He knows his
Okay.
shit. Are
He
you
knows his
good?
shit.
I gotta stick with Coast Mob.
Okay.
I'm not on the Port side.
I fuck with it.
I fuck with it.
But
Y'all
I
are
have Port friends.
Okay.
now that you guys are in the
Appreciate it.
podcast scene, we can call you guys podcast now because you said before
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
we're out
FM.
here.
You have a podcast now.
Achia.
How would you say is one of the ways to give other podcasts, because we've gotten to know a couple other podcasts.
Yeah, I like
There's
good 15.
good other ones.
15.
How would y'all say is one of the ways that we could expand our reach?
I think you're onto it. Like so.
Not us. Not ItsLitBoston. I'm saying in general for
Like,
other
I already
podcasts.
sat down and talked to y'all about this.
Like, but by shit, like, because we.
No, because you guys have come on.
We've tried
I think
to
because we
do-
got a podcast before.
So we've
I
never. This is the first podcast, but we've done like most of the other radio stations, or I have like done most of the other radio stations.
So the radio
as they
stations are
were out.
PC as fuck, though.
Trying to go back and forth and do it, and I think just swapping brands because like just so we're always we pop up at. Sometimes it takes people like 3 to 5 times seeing your stuff for it to click.
Yeah.
Like I remember we would always be doing stuff with the stew or something like that, and then I'd be talking, hanging outside with somebody, and like, wait, I know y'all did this, and then I saw you did. Like people need to see it over and over. So, and it's not even just sharing the stories, but just doing stuff together, like just linking up, doing each other's shows. Shouting them out.
That's what we try to do.
Like, but so you mean like growing bigger than
Yeah.
where we're at?
No, even
I
not
personally just want to expand the podcast community.
Okay.
Personally, that's
even
what I.
that's
want.
great, but for me, it's more about
Have a different selection of people come up and talk
Yeah,
about
that-
what they're doing.
that's
Don't-
what we're doing. That's
don't
why we have
have-
y'all up.
Yeah.
That's what
Right,
we
like
have. Y'all are
don't
different from us.
have
We don't-
facts, like don't have like this, like the same
Cliques.
type of
No.
thing. Like, you know, I would say not to like keep it definitive to one thing. So like you wouldn't just interview just artists or just
rappers.
Or just rappers.
Yeah.
You know, like open it up to all different types
and that's what we try to do.
Black businesses that are going on in
We
Boston.
were like that in the past, and now, I mean, I'm hoping people notice that we've been obviously reaching out and doing more podcasts, personalities, other politicians, you know, which is weird, which was different for us also.
It definitely was different.
You know,
Did y'all roll up with them?
No,
we didn't.
We tried, you know. He was like, "Come on, Sam, I'm running for office right now, fam. You know, nah, it's my."
But it was dope though.
It was dope. It was a great conversation, but it was a different conversation.
I think you just gotta figure out who's listening to you, like who's your audience,
Yeah.
and then figure out how to swap audiences, share audiences.
And that's where I'm at.
And, like it's a community, like, and this is one thing I did like about like artists are always kind of competing on a level, but it seems like with these things, there's a lot more opportunity to just kind of
take over,
be collaborative, and like work together, and it's not people are listening, like, and I tell us artists too, like, how many hours are people listening to shit all week? There's time for them to get an hour of LFOD every week, hour and 45 minutes of your guys, you know, an hour of whoever.
The Urban Collective
Show, yeah. And that's what I mean by how can we help each other as podcasts get our reach, because we all have our pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we do to not just keep our core fans? We have our core fans. Everybody has their core fans, but expand that. Where now, because we have a certain demographic.
What's on Your Mind podcast?
Podcast.
That's about mental health.
Exactly.
We just launched a new podcast, Human Resources, with the Shift Boston. We're interviewing their.
I didn't realize when I went to the WBUR space over at City Space, and then the Podcast Garage, how many other podcasts there were. But they're not urban podcasts, obviously, but the fact that I knew they were out there, I just didn't know how.
I liked how you guys were talking about, like, you guys are very clear about the lane you want and what you want to do. I liked how you were talking about, like, we're going to be the urban podcast. We're going to be the place where you can say, like, we haven't even gotten as un-PC as I thought. Like, I'm still waiting for...
That's what people
trip up questions.
That's what people like about podcasts, though. It's not PC.
Can't be PC.
Yeah.
And the thing with us, we don't bring people on with any pre-notion questions or anything like that, because that's what a lot of podcasts usually do. They ask you the same bullshit questions, the safe questions, and if one of them or one of the guests is a click person with the other person that's on the podcast, they ain't gonna ask her certain shit.
Right.
They're like, oh, I'll leave that over.
I just want to have a conversation.
Just have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I just for what we're doing now, our mode is to help as much as we can, while, you know, obviously helping ourselves.
While getting our shit off.
I think the way you push is, I think, you just get it together. Maybe we put together. So like you said, you didn't know there was that many until you went that thing. Like maybe,
being out there.
Maybe we put together some sort of event, like highlighting it.
Connor did that. Connor did something like that for he's from the Golden Hours podcast. I think you guys should check him out. Yeah, Connor, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, so that's something like they popped up. I never even.
They have a show
they
attached
popped
to
out
that
of
too, right?
nowhere.
It is their show.
That's their show.
It's a show, but then there's a showcase, right?
No, he never had a showcase.
He hasn't had a showcase yet. No.
I think there's like a golden showcase or something.
Oh, that's not the same thing.
That's not the same thing. No.
Just same names.
There's, I don't know about them. I think they hit us up once, and I don't know about them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
Not Golden Hour, the Golden Showcase.
No, I don't know about the Golden. I'm just hearing it for the first time too. We just feel like with the way podcast is so heavy now.
So that's like another thing is like we could take this personally. Like, how did he do a whole thing and didn't have us looped in?
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean? So people.
But when we went on, we informed him of other podcasts.
Yeah,
just like we put him on to other artists in the city, we put him on to.
He put us on also to people.
So I think you guys are doing a good thing. But I think maybe we do some sort of thing. I've been thinking about the idea of a podcast network. You know,
we have a DM that we're gonna include y'all in. It's called Boston Creatives.
Yep. And I submitted to your I went on your website and you have the directory. I submitted our information.
Yep.
You know, I think
that's why we have that.
And I hope you guys stick with it, because we've seen. In the 5 years, we've seen a lot of people pop up like wanting to do similar things, and eventually the amount of work piles up and then it falls and it doesn't happen.
I personally love it. I love this shit to the point. I cannot wait to one day quit my regular job and just do this shit. I won't do what she's doing and just be full time with this shit. Okay. Like, my family knows for like 3 months they didn't consider me a carpenter. They consider me a media guy. Like
I love how you just became an official carpenter, and you're already like, I can't wait to quit and do some other shit.
It hurts on the body, man. It beats on the body, bro.
No, it's a tough life.
It's a tough life, bro. It's a tough life. Like people don't appreciate labor guys.
In like family, it's like that's a hard one, man.
There's no life. Like I wanted to be at that event last night on Thursday night for Bedlam for Brandon, and there was a Millie Blog event last night. I wanted to go check out, but I was too sore and tired. Like when you're working, you don't feel nothing.
I think we just push each other, man. I like the idea of just sharing each other's stuff and just pushing it,
showing up when you can.
And,
you know,
I think it's a way to magnify crowds. You know, like asking the core audience to like expand on it.
Yeah.
That's like up to them. They got to tell all their friends and be like really psyched about it.
Right. That's organic reach though, without strategy, and that's where you were saying like personality kind of flows into that, because it's like, you know, as much as I hate to even say it, like personality does play a role in like what people are gonna subscribe to or not, and if you're not a nice person or you don't have the core values of like what you're, because I've seen people build platforms and say it's about a certain thing, but it's really not about that. So I feel like, you know, over time that gets, you know, everything in the dark comes to the light. Yeah. So it's kind of like one of those things, but I'm like, if you're a genuine nice person and your mission is real and this is like your real purpose, like.
But now everybody wants to joke.
The stuff is like you're gonna get people that organically want to follow you and organically want to, you know, do what's right and like support you in whatever way that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think getting some of the old media to fuck around with us would be
great,
helpful, because they don't.
That's why I tag them. I tag them motherfuckers. I tag them. They be in my DMs.
But what I mean is maybe we put something together and we say, here's 10 of the things that are going on right now.
But that's what I did today.
And then we
with
pitch it, you know, because like how do you get, the goal is every time you drop something, you want to burst the bubble you had before and just
level up,
grow in the bubble,
exactly,
and grow in the eyes. And I think at a certain point, other people need to jump in, and it is honestly, it's
But it can happen. Like I see that with Red Shades for real. Like, you know, the promo's not too heavy, but like people are gravitating and paying attention to her, not only because they're watching her at shows, but like because she's working out here. She's very visible.
Right. And but like that's artist versus a podcast now. Podcast we're talking about like a collection.
I feel like a podcast is also like can be the same thing. I could like I love the Joe Budden podcast because I would mess with every single one of them individually. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I could go and chill in a room with Joe, Rory, Amal, or Parks at any, even what's his name? The Do.
Oh yeah. The Do.
Like I could see myself chilling with each of them. Not always do I agree with everything they say, which is also another thing too.
That's the point of a podcast.
Like it's a total point. Like, and some things that Joe's podcast says is sometimes even problematic and toxic as fuck. But I still
you like that?
I still, you know, but
these two are wicked toxic.
But like subject to opinion. But I'll still watch the show because I support what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're giving a lot of history. They're giving a lot of knowledge. And I like each and every one of them individually as their own person. So personality does. If I didn't like Howard Stern for a really long time.
Nobody did.
So I didn't watch his stuff. Like, I'm just not. It's just his personality. It's the same way
He's low-key the GOAT of
radio. He totally is. And his credentials.
Not even low-key.
His credentials and, like, his resume, once again, like, you can't always measure somebody up to like their credentials and resume. Like I said earlier today, it's like it's true. If your personality isn't really.
But Howard Stern shitted on podcasts.
And now he's gonna do one.
Exactly.
I know. I heard that too. I'm only using him as an example of like people I don't
still
like.
Give you a little.
We're dirty. Like, I did hear that.
Saying.
You're still trying to get me to be messy.
I'm not trying to get you messy at all. I'm just giving you a fact.
No, but I
That's
know.
A fact.
I know. I heard that, but I'm just saying.
You stumble into all his traps.
Because I pay attention.
I did the research and I was like, I gotta watch out for Sam. Anything he's saying, I need to like really think it through.
But that's just how I feel, though.
Where is he gonna lead me? What road?
That's
Because he
me.
starts out innocent and then he takes you down this road.
That's me,
and then
though.
at the
'Cause
end
I'm gonna
of it,
ask
he
you real
goes,
questions.
Oh, so if you believe that, what about this?
You
And
messing with
then-
you like
It's
a
like,
No.
let him rock. It's like he rocks.
I'm never out to get anything
A lot of
negative.
people don't like Wendy Williams, and
Facts.
they watch her every single day.
Facts.
But they watch her because of her personality.
Right.
She ain't
Well,
giving you no information that you can't go look for yourself.
I know, which is astonishing. I think it's the way her delivery is.
It's her personality.
Even though people don't like her.
That's
Even though
all
people
that
don't, they
shit.
don't like her, but they like
But they
her.
like the same.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, Charlemagne was like that for a very long time
Mad
too.
scientist. That's mad
know?
scientist
Yeah.
type
So that's an interesting thing for like what we do is we try to make it more about the artist than our personalities. Like I looked at interviewers like,
Don't talk too much about yourself.
yeah, like we want to be a platform for the art. Like so
Yeah.
you tune into Bud and you tune into those because of these characters
Yep.
that are involved, and like we make a conscious effort to we should be talking less than our guests
Yeah.
at all times. So there's also different types of podcasts. Like
Yep.
those are like this one, like a conversation one. Those are the same four people talking about current events.
But I
week.
also think it's easy.
then-
I think people like also like talk about themselves when they're talking to people though, because they draw a question from personal
It's relatable.
experience
Yes, sir.
in the moment. So I feel like you're absolutely right. Like our show, like the guests should be talking
Right.
way more than us. But like at some point, like even when I watch The Breakfast Club, because they're also a radio show, like I'll hear Angela say like, yeah, for me, and that will lead
Right,
to
like it's a
something
real
else.
conversation.
Right.
We're not robots spitting
Facts.
out
But
questions.
that's what makes the Breakfast Club the Breakfast Club.
Even though they do prepare
They
questions.
do prepare, yeah,
They
they
do
do.
prepare questions.
But
There's
they,
nothing
But if
wrong
you're-
with
nothing
that.
with that. No.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's
It's,
something I struggle with, honestly. Whenever I'm like trying to write questions for our artists, like they always come from a personal space to begin with, and then I just delete out the personal part. Like this is the section where I kind of related with, and this is my question because of it, and I just cut out like how I related to it, and then I feel like I'm asking these dry questions.
No, dude, your questions half the time they're like, "That was a great question," and then they go, "You
Leave
don't
that
listen
shit
back
in.
like they love your shit."
Don't edit that shit out, man.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I like my questions, but like sometimes I really sit there and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I think.
Yeah,
I
like we
think
don't
it's
want to
garbage.
give a full,
Yeah.
because we have an hour. That's
Yeah.
how long the show
Yeah.
is, and then it's done. So. You gotta we even gotta call off artists if they're talking too long about.
So
certain
do you
things. We
guys
need
want
keep it
to
hustling.
go longer than an hour?
That's one of the things we're gonna start doing once we hit 200 patrons. We're gonna start doing the after because we hang out. We end up at the show usually for at least another hour, chilling.
That'd be dope.
Listen,
Sometimes
we recorded
two
last
or
week, an hour and a half, was
three.
here together for 5
So I
hours.
do
Yeah.
podcasts with
It's crazy.
I've been working on another podcast series I'm doing, and so far all those conversations have been a minimum of 3 hours. Some have been
Ian
5,
Hates.
some have been 6, but it's like we just sit down and shoot the shit, and I'm gonna cut it into 20 minutes and we'll put it out. But they're different formats, like
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, like I said, we love podcasts.
Facts.
So
You can listen to them all
I
day.
feel like
day
it's
long.
challenging though. Like
really,
I
Don't you
do.
want that, though?
Like people always ask me, like, would you ever consider doing like a podcast? Like somebody said to me the other day, me and Trevor Holmes should do a podcast because when we're in
I said it about Trevor and that rapper. Oh, I can't remember. his
who
name.
Cake Swag.
No, the other one before her. Oh my god.
Yo,
I had him
your
on a podcast
Cake Swag
together.
interview, huh?
hey man, it
I
happens.
like that.
I like that.
How-
Who are
the
you talking?
gate.
Who are you talking about?
Cake Swag?
No, the person. The
Oh, I'm
other
about to go
person.
find it right
She
now.
handled
but
that
people-
pretty well, by the way.
but-
Shout out to Cake Swag.
I
Shout
gotta
out
go all the way
Cake
back.
Swag.
Yeah.
She handled that
No,
pretty well.
and that's
You basically told her album was trash.
Right.
In the
Facts.
first 2 minutes of the interview.
That's
And we was
harsh.
already here for like an hour and some change.
Oh,
That
okay.
always happens.
I'm gonna let you know like how I feel. It's not maliciously. It's not to hurt you.
Dude,
it's
there's
just my
some of the
opinion.
best relationships I have are because like I didn't like ride like that, and I
can't-
was like, yeah, man, like the way you rap
I
or the
just-
way this, and they're like, wow, you really said that to me.
I'm
like,
gonna
yeah,
shoot you. Like for me, I don't want like the word fake, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Very transparent
I'm
with you.
Chic.
Oh, I am chic. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah,
chic.
Yeah,
Yeah, they was
she's
like,
good.
oh, y'all should do a podcast.
Yeah, she's good.
Everybody says that.
Miss Chic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's good.
because
Yeah,
she's
she's-
good.
I haven't
You're the-
seen
you're the
her
lower
in a
version of-
while.
of him. Like you're calm. Trevor's
Yeah.
always gonna be uppity. So
Yeah.
anybody that's calm or you you're smooth talking, they want you to go talk with Trevor because he's always going to give you the energy.
Yeah,
Trevor
no,
was
they were totally saying that because we happened to be in the same room with a couple people that know us individually, and they were like, y'all two, and I'm like, we actually already know each other, and this is how we engage with each other all the time, which is dope. But Trevor be saying some problematic shit sometimes.
I
be ready to slap him. We be ready to fight.
That's why when me and Trevor
we be ready
perfect.
to fight. I love you, Trevor. You my guy. But we be ready to fight. So
man is ready to cancel people out here.
I'm not about cancel culture except for like
Gucci.
Except for Gucci. But I'm not about cancel culture because I feel like everybody has a chance to evolve and grow, and they don't stay the same. So it's like if you cancel someone, you won't be able to see if.
So you would never cancel people.
No, you can't cancel nobody.
All right. So say you're Lauren London. Kodak said, "Are you canceling him or not?" Because you're the woman. We know how we feel as men.
If I'm Lauren London, first of all, that's I can't even. I don't even know how to answer that question because I can't imagine. But I don't know. I don't want to. That's
too personal.
It's just too.
And then now you see why you can't always ask personal questions on the podcast.
Well, that's the ill thing because then people were saying like, "Yo, y'all are just now riding on Kodak," and it's only because. Nip validated. You're not riding on him for Lauren.
Nope,
you're riding because of Nip. So you're still not even
Kodak
fucking
Black
with women.
said that problematic shit about Young M.A. too.
But that's what they're saying is now you're riding like, oh, you can't disrespect women like that. But it's because of Nip when he's been disrespectful to women for a long time.
True. I took it. I did take it.
Men were very hypocritical.
All the way.
But Kodak's been doing this.
Facts. He's a troll. He's a troll. Yeah.
But people still ride with his music though.
His music is good.
Like
because I can separate the person from the music.
Shut the fuck up, you lying ass motherfucker.
How? That's why I do still.
You said if you found your favorite rapper was gay, you would cancel that nigga.
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
I've heard
Let me.
One at a time.
Can I reiterate what I was saying?
Go ahead. Eat them.
I said I used to be a Frank Ocean fan, but then once I heard that the lyrics were about a man, I couldn't relate to it any longer.
That is not what you said.
That is exactly what I said because I had that entire album, which was a mixtape, and it had the car on the front of it.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. No. You just said if he was gay. We're talking about
because you said you would cancel. You would not listen to a motherfucker that you didn't know.
Because I know the music is about another man. I can't relate to it. Of course, I'm canceling it.
You don't think love is universal?
Love is universal. Well, the way they're saying it about other men.
Contradictory ass motherfucker right here.
I'm American.
Canceling the artist?
All Americans are
listening to that song less.
Huh?
Like you're just
he's not listening.
You're just
he's not at all.
I'm not listening to it no more. Like Novocaine has a different feel now. Pause.
See?
It doesn't.
So
you hated the album.
No, I didn't have the Novocaine album because that wasn't on the
Orange.
I didn't have that.
But like I begged the question because
she's gonna cancel you now.
I'm not canceling. I don't cancel nobody. But like, what does sexual orientation have anything to do with the music? That's one. Two. Wait. There. Two.
You can't ask two questions and ask for the same answer at the same time.
Two. Because it could be a long answer. Maybe you need some time to process. So I'm giving you both at the same time.
There she goes. She reading me.
So the first question is, what does it matter somebody's sexual orientation? And two, you're saying, oh, because I know about this man's sexual orientation or this person, because I don't know the proper pronoun to call Frank Ocean, but Frank Ocean, because now you know what their sexual orientation is, you can't relate to the music, even though music is universal and it's the concept of of how you're digesting it. Just because he's saying it in a way that may have to relate to someone else, you can still attach your own feeling to that.
Now, see, I'm gonna tell you what you did wrong. You got long-winded, so now I don't remember the question, first of all.
Yeah, this is kind of one-on-one.
You just got personal. So I already don't even have to answer because I don't remember nothing, honestly. I just remember you went on a tangent.
No, but pause, let her ask you again.
Okay.
She's going to ask you again.
She don't remember the first question.
What does it matter somebody's sexual orientation?
To me, music is personal. So if you're singing a song like Novocaine, I personally can't relate to that. Because from what I'm told, I don't know, but from what people told me, Novocaine is about him and another man doing their thing. I can't relate to that. I don't play with assholes. That's just me.
But he doesn't say anything about that on the record, does
right.
he?
It's
It'd be one thing if he was like...
You want to break down a record? You want to look at the words? It's totally there, but you're not paying attention because you're not reading it. You just listen to it.
Okay.
So when you listen to music, a lot of times when you gravitate towards something, it's because of how it feels. You're not listening to the lyrics first. Everybody's been bumping Victory Lap, but nobody has been listening to the fucking words. Okay. It's different. So with me, I'm listening to those words, and if they're personal, I don't want that. That's just not me. Personally, that's just me. I don't see none of y'all listen to Bobby Light.
Who's Bobby Light?
Exactly. You know who Bobby Light is?
No, I don't know.
He's a fucking liar.
I don't know who Bobby Light is.
He's a gay rapper who's on Love and Hip Hop.
He's
but I don't watch Love and Hip Hop.
Younger cousin.
The light. Oh wait.
Time out. Oh, see now you know him.
The light skin one.
But now you know him, though.
Now I know.
Okay. But I don't see you bumping the Bobby Light.
From Miami? The Miami one?
But why won't
you? The Miami one? Okay, I know.
Why won't you bump Bobby Light though?
I never listen to his music. Period.
Why won't you try it now? I just told you about him.
I'll listen to him. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
We're gonna see if you have the same energy after. I'm gonna record you.
Okay. I don't care about somebody's sexual orientation.
But you do.
No, I don't.
You don't realize.
Do you still listen to Michael Jackson?
I never really listened to Michael, honestly. Okay. I didn't grow up like me.
Why are you guys throwing Michael Jackson?
I don't know. There's these motherfuckers.
These? I didn't even mention it. This motherfucker threw me under the bus.
I did not throw you under the bus. You lying on yourself.
He went just like this. This motherfucker. These motherfuckers.
You lying on yourself.
You contradicted.
I don't listen to Michael Jackson.
Nice conversation we were having.
I don't listen to Michael Jackson.
No, that's fine.
I didn't grow up on Michael Jackson. It's not my peer.
That's cool.
Like LeBron, is he your GOAT or is Michael Jordan your GOAT?
MJ. I mean MJ because I grew up with MJ.
But you didn't grow up with MJ because you didn't watch high school.
I did not high school.
Your
I
pops,
didn't watch LeBron's high
your
school
pops is MJ's peer.
Okay, so what was your second question?
It wasn't
My
a question.
second question was
she knows it.
Even as a consumer, like you don't have to digest the lyrics in that way.
As a consumer, you have the right to digest any way you want because you're the consumer. You can't tell me what to digest. I'm
not telling you what to digest. I'm just saying like you don't have to. That's my point. You don't have to digest them in such of a personal way. You can appreciate the song in the production of the song without even listening to the lyrics.
How do you listen to a song without listening to the lyrics?
There's people There's people that also just pay attention to production. When you hear it in a club, you don't really necessarily hear the lyrics.
When you listen to it in a club,
the production and the beat of the song more than you'll hear the lyrics. So don't tell me that you can't listen to a song without lyrics, without just the instrumental. I'm just saying.
Coming from somebody who actually did music and I've actually been in the studio, I don't want to hear my music in the club. You don't hear shit in the club. I want to hear my shit.
But that song has been played in the club.
I'll let you go. I like to hear my shit within headphones or within a studio in a closed room. Anybody who's ever made music does not want to hear their shit in the club. Only people that want to hear their shit in the club are who made it for the club. Period. Me, if I'm listening to music, if I want to pay attention to the cellos or the little trinkets in the background, I'll listen to the instrumental. But if you put words with it, I'm going to listen to the whole thing because I'm the consumer.
Okay.
So do you not listen to female rappers?
Yeah, I do. What?
Because they're talking about dick.
Good point. I was gonna stop this conversation.
I listen to female,
but like Meg the Stallion.
Meg the Stallion, I'll be rocking with.
I don't listen to Meg the Stallion though.
Tina Snow? You didn't listen to Tina Snow?
I don't.
You've never heard Cardi. You've never
heard
Cardi. Little Kim.
I've heard of Little Kim. I know the Notorious album. I know all the songs and all that. But all these other rappers, you're naming rappers in different lanes. They're nothing like a what's her name that fucks with TDE and
SZA?
No, she's not a rapper. What's the pop? What? Chic. She did her makeup when she came to Middle East.
Oh, Rhapsody.
Yeah, I like Rhapsody. I like.
Why is Rhapsody okay? But she's probably in relationships with men in all the songs she's talking about.
She's not rapping about fucking and all that though.
What?
But you just said
she's not rapping like Meg the Stallion, bro. Meg the Stallion is
totally
different.
We're not comparing to Meg. We're comparing the content to Frank
though.
Ocean's. His isn't explicit either about what he's doing.
What, with a woman?
Yeah, his isn't explicit. He's not like a Meg. Like, we're talking about
the
feeling behind it.
Are you asking women I'm going to listen to or who are just coming
on
after
So you
the
listen
song?
to Rhapsody. So Frank's music is inspired by whatever relation. Like, he puts that emotion into the song.
Correct.
All of Rhapsody's, or I would assume, I don't know her. I think.
Have you listened to her content?
I have, but it's all inspired. All the relationship, sexual stuff is all inspired by men.
Are you saying that most of her music is about sex?
No, but are you saying most of Frank's is? Because I don't know if it all
His is more personal and emotional.
It's because he's R&B.
No, I don't think that matters.
No, but I mean, you're saying his lane is more. You're thinking.
It's more personal. It's more emotional. I'm not getting that from every female rapper I'm gonna listen to.
Okay.
No,
But
that's
Little-
negative. I definitely.
But Little
they definitely-
Kim, you just said
You're missing-
like I don't subscribe. You said you don't subscribe to Frank Ocean because you've read the lyrics and you can't personally relate. But
Because I know it's about a man.
But if you listen
it's
to
another
Little
man.
Kim,
That's just me. I can't
and like
listen to it.
what some female rappers have spoken about, they're talking about.
But you're assuming that I'm listening to only music that they're fucking. I'm not. I don't care about that.
No, I know, but Rhapsody has songs like.
But that doesn't mean those are the songs I'm listening to. That's what you're misunderstanding.
So are you choosing what you're listening to from each artist?
Don't you always choose what you want to listen to from an artist?
Sometimes I listen to full albums. It doesn't matter.
All right, that's you. Me, I skim through it. I might like certain songs from Crenshaw, or I might like certain songs from Mailbox Money. That's me. I don't like every song.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's
some people listen to music in full products.
I listen to music in full product, but I might not want to hear the whole album today. I might want to hear 4 songs. Period.
I'm just trying to see how you wouldn't listen to Novocaine, but you would listen to.
No, see now when you're naming songs, you're naming specific songs. I said Novocaine. What other song you can compare that to? Because that's what you was doing with Little Kim, and you're about to name all these songs, talk about her probably sucking dick or some shit, but those aren't the songs I'm listening to from her.
Not necessarily, but she does have some strong connotation in certain songs. If that's not what the gist of the song is about, there'll be at least a bar or two in there.
So we talking about bars, or we talking about the songs now?
Yeah, it's getting.
Now you're getting mixed up. You're blurring me.
I see what he's slippery. He's slippery.
He's good. His hands are good too. I'm gonna let this rock. See where this goes. This is good. I appreciate y'all coming through. This is great. You know what I'm saying? Finally, got to actually have a conversation with
thank
y'all.
you for having us. We appreciate
Alex,
it.
No, this is dope.
you got your shit off.
Now we're gonna end on that.
Hell yeah!
Totally shit.
You know what I'm saying? No, this is great, Alex. We know you're a dancer now. That's great to hear. I can't wait to actually see you dance. I'm actually excited. I'm gonna see if you're nice.
So you think you can dance? You can be on that show.
Yeah.
He pops up on our stories every now and then, pop locking in his chair.
So, Uncle Sam, glad to finally have a conversation with you fully. You know what I'm saying? Because I listen, you know.
But now I can.
You know what it is.
But now I can listen to his music on a different scale.
You understand now?
Yeah.
God, I sent him the playlist that you sent me.
Right.
And I was like, yo, go listen to that. So we can prep for today and all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you send him an unreleased joint?
Yeah, I sent him everything. I sent him
Yeah, he
everything.
did,
Yeah, I sent him everything. You know,
people
so.
here.
And I told him, I was like, yo, it's a little different. But
Yeah.
there you go.
You never gotta tell me that though. I like to hear.
I'll say
everybody's
that. I
music.
don't think anyone sounds like me.
No, definitely not. Not from where, not with the style of
No, you
you're
do.
rapping.
There's one person. I don't think
Who?
you know.
In the city?
Who's
He's
that?
from here,
wanna
but I don't
look
think
up.
he's here right now. What's the name? His name was Jake the Snake.
I know Jay the S. I've done Damaged Goods podcast when I was out in LA. So shout out
bro.
Jake, man.
See?
Yeah.
I did
you
a
go.
song. I did a song for Last Days, and I asked Jake to do a feature on it. He did that. I still have that verse in the email to this day.
Jay the S.
Small fucking world.
Yeah.
Small fucking
Isn't it weird? Everybody
legit,
that comes
man.
on, I know people from that walks of life.
That's all that matters.
crazy.
And that's what we're trying to build.
Yeah.
With the podcast thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a community.
It's a
really,
community.
and
We really have
always-
to build that shit.
We talk about the people who've been on, like, oh, you should talk. We had this conversation with so and so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're trying to build. That's what we're trying to build. That's what you guys have been trying to build. And so I feel like
Building. I don't
Building.
even fuck with the word try.
No, building.
That's what we
Exactly.
put on the
Building.
fly today.
Yeah,
We're not
building.
trying to do
Not at
anything.
all. Not
We're
trying.
building.
We're actively doing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, actively doing.
That's
And
why we made the flyer today and put all the podcasts that we knew about on it.
Yeah.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like we have to. I feel like we have to be proactive.
Yeah.
If we learn,
Because nobody else is doing it.
No, I don't even say that. I'm not even gonna say that.
I
I'm
won't
not
say
even gonna
nobody
that.
else is doing, but not as many that should.
Yeah, I would say, even that. I would just say we need to be more collectively doing things together.
Yeah.
That's it.
More people
I don't
need
want
to
to
step
say
up.
people aren't doing things.
But then again, it's the support. Like, do
Oh,
you,
there go the word.
you know,
building.
we don't have to work together, but it would be dope
Collaborating.
if we did. It would be really helpful.
Exactly.
It would be really
and
helpful.
we know not every look. I tell him all the time. There's some podcasts I can't fuck with because it's not my type of thing I like to listen to.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're bad.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I
I
still
feel like
like
people
listen.
take that the wrong way when I'm like, yeah, it ain't my vibe. I like
Yeah.
spicy kind of stuff. I
like
like something
explicit talk.
entertaining. Yeah, I like entertaining shit.
You don't
If you're
buy the
drawn,
album
I'm
without the explicit label.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't do edited shit. I don't mean that. Nah, that's not the way my soul works. You know what I mean? I need something violent.
Rated R.
I need some jarring. Yeah, I need some like, ooh, that was spicy. I like that. I need that. But
He said violent.
Yeah, I need something like that. But you guys have been around for a while. Why do you think now what you guys have been doing? Give a good reason why they should fuck with y'all heavy.
Because Amanda's canceling people.
No, we don't.
We always got to put it back
This
on
is
you.
fake news. Left and right. like literally, she can say to your face, "I don't believe in canceling." And 30 seconds later,
I just want to see what you're gonna say.
30 seconds later, what? I changed my mind.
30 seconds later, like, yeah, man is canceling everybody.
Hot takes.
I don't cancel people or anything. I think certain things and certain people can be very problematic, and it is not my job to give them those.
I ain't gonna front. Y'all women have definitely made us men be like really worried about how we like.
Well, walk on eggshells?
Yeah, a little bit. Cause we used to talk our shit. Just talk our shit. Now he's like, oh, we gotta worry about these women coming out talking.
Hey,
about
listen, these are all the thoughts.
What is going on?
Yo,
why is you like? What
yo, because I used to be like, yo, legit. I used to be like, yo, shit is mad retarded out here, son. Some lady come out the cut. You know, you shouldn't use that word retarded. You know, like, get the fuck out of here, yo.
These are the thoughts and opinions of Show only.
Yo, what is going on?
Yo, listen. I've been told don't use the word bitch. Stop being flagrant and using the word faggot.
All this sounds like reasonable.
Nah,
things for someone
son.
to
I
say
need
to
that.
you.
I like that shit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you're ruining my upbringing. Okay? You're ruining my
You
upbringing.
don't want to be seen in this footage, dude. Trust me. You don't want to be in. Like,
That's what I said.
nah, man. So for that stuff, like,
If I ain't talking about you, come on, son.
nah,
Come
but
on, you
people
know
have
what it
made
is.
it clear that regardless of who you're talking about, it still hits
Still
them the
respect,
same
yeah.
way. And
Nah, I feel you,
if
I feel
people
you.
have said that and you keep saying it, to me,
Well, no, I stopped.
you're being an
I stopped.
asshole.
No,
Like,
yeah,
I stopped. I stopped. It took
Because
a
I
long
get,
time.
dude, I was a kid and I remember being like, well, I don't, like, that word wasn't associated with sexuality at all.
No,
when
not
I was
at
a
all.
kid.
Yeah.
And then all
Now
of a
it
sudden
is.
it was like, and then it only took, like, being in person with somebody, like, being like, yo, like, that's kind of fun, like, it shouldn't take that many times.
It hurts me.
Like,
I don't like that
but
shit.
I don't think eggshells are good because I think, and going back to the cancel thing, I think everybody should have one strike. Like, you can't do the instant because you might not know
You
what
can't
you're
just give
saying.
them one strike, though.
Nah,
No,
way
no,
more
no,
perfect.
no,
Way
no,
perfect, man.
per topic. Like, so, like, you don't
Per
know-
topic?
Absolutely.
Come on,
if
Sam.
you don't know what you're saying is fucked up, like, you should feel comfortable to speak freely, and if someone explains to you, yo, when you said that, it
Okay.
actually comes across and means this, and I feel this way, and you have an opportunity to clean your shit up, and if you take in what they said and you clean
He's
your
saying
shit
exactly
up,
what she said
I
about
think
the
you're
teaching
good,
moment.
but if you keep saying it, then you've been made aware, and you're being ignorant on
still being
purpose.
ignorant.
That's the
I don't
teaching
think
moment.
there's a problem with being accidentally, because we are getting into a dangerous place
Very.
where people aren't saying what they're thinking because they don't even know if they're allowed to talk about topics.
They're
You
censoring
should
too
be
much.
able to talk about topics,
Facts.
but
It's the way you
can't
talk
be
about it,
so. Fear is never the answer, and you can't be scared and pulling it in. But if you keep saying it after someone's explained it to you, then you're an asshole. But the instant cancel, we're not all. You can't expect people to be knowing everything at all times. Like, we're kind of waking up on a national level right now. It's
Thanks-
very cool.
thanks to
like,
the
we're
ladies.
waking up on a national
Thanks to the
level.
women.
And it's, listening to women's cool, man.
And say two
I'm-
say, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, no. Hey, ladies, I'm with you. I stopped saying
You just
faggot.
came out here. You're
He's
still
saying it.
saying it.
No, hold on.
You're still
Let me clean my
saying it.
let me clean my
You're
shit up.
still-
Let
All
me
the
clean my-
zigzag or
Let me
something.
clean my shit up. Look, I don't use the word faggot every
He's
time.
saying
you're
it
not.
again.
You're not hearing it.
You're saying it again.
Oh, no, I'm gonna say it.
You're not supposed to say it.
You're
I'm not
not
supposed
hearing
to.
it.
So no. See, I don't believe in that.
You're supposed to sub out the words.
No, you're
or
giving
sub out
out
the
words.
letters.
No, see, and that's where I
gotta
draw the line.
zigzag it.
I
So
draw the
like
line.
that's
But that's
really,
ignorance.
So
No,
it's
I draw
not
the line
just
on
it's
ignorance.
not just ignorance though, because like I've been sitting here pretty quiet, but I definitely identify as a queer person.
And that's cool.
And when you say things like that, it is very offensive. And I think what Sam was saying is that we're moving into a climate now where people like to say like the word sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's necessarily sensitive. It's just like people don't want to be fucking offended.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say things that you may or may not know that offend somebody, you do have a chance to clean it up.
Yeah.
However, if you do keep repeating those same patterns that people have told you already are problematic as fuck and have given you reasons why it makes people feel uncomfortable or feel out of place, then that's when you should to change the behavior. And if you decide not to, which is your own autonomous right in this world and your own prerogative to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want, then expect backlash or expect the outcomes that come with that, whatever those consequences may be. Also, to further that, you're also on a platform that reaches several different demographics and people of sexual orientation, people of different nationalities, different backgrounds, different cultural norms. So you need to be somewhat responsible and respectable and educated into knowing like who your audience may or may not be, even if they don't subscribe to you right away. I could be somebody listening to this podcast, and as soon as you said the F word or as soon as you said the R word, I'm done with you. And like Sam said, you shouldn't get canceled off of one thing, but first impressions mean something, and as soon as it's offensive and it hurts, like you said with the music and how you attach it to your own personal self, people do the same thing with anything that they consume. Can they relate to it? Are they all right with it? Joe Budden, like I said, and I'm going to repeat it again, says problematic shit and toxic ass shit. They have had conversations where I was like, yo, that is not fucking politically correct. That offended the fuck out of me. And like, I know what standpoint he's coming from. He's like, I don't give a fuck, like this is me. So if I know that, I at least have to accept that at some point listening to his content, I may or may not get fucking offended. When I'm listening as a new person, I do have a right to cancel right off rip, because I am a new person and this is something that
you haven't built that rapport.
I haven't, but if I did, then I would be like, okay, that is a teachable moment. And once again, we have to decide whether or not we should exercise our energy into whether or not we want to have a teachable moment. Because I could have easily walked out of here or waited for the cameras to come off and say all this, but I feel like we should be sensitive to these things. Like you offend me when you say words like that. When you say the R word, my son was in special education classes to the age of 5. Like when you say those words, it brings people, these are stigmas, people attach to them. They're trigger words. Like those are things that we don't want to do, because that's when support starts to dwindle and it looks like you're ignorant, especially when you have the resources.
Like I said, I don't use these words anymore.
No, that's fine.
But don't say the
Oh,
word.
not say them.
Gone.
No,
Everyone that tuned in for Amanda is never listening to
I'm not saying
like, that was a last minute fumble, but
that's their choice whether or not. I'm still gonna promote you because I know this is a teachable moment, and I know you personally. I'm not gonna cancel somebody for being ignorant in a moment, and that's the other thing I want to drive home. It's like people can be ignorant in moments, not for life. You will keep them ignorant for life if you are in a teachable moment scenario and don't teach it. So
facts.
I'm not gonna cancel.
So practice not saying that word while apologizing for saying that word.
See, that's why I fucked up. Because I don't use these words. I don't use these words on a regular basis anymore.
I hear what you're saying on the free speech tip.
Yeah.
But these are consequences in real time.
My wife had explained to me exactly the same way she just said it.
And you didn't listen?
You still did it?
No. I said it only on here just to like, this is how I used to speak. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak like this anymore. You know what I'm saying? She was like, if somebody was saying this is how they would feel, and I need to understand that. Because growing up, we used to use those words.
Well, the important
on a regular
thing here
basis.
is, and you see it with everybody, the words change.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is going to happen again and again and
just
again.
like people evolve.
Because the
Words
word
can
idiot
evolve.
used to be the exact same word as retarded. Like, used to call someone who had mental problems an idiot.
Exactly.
And then we turned into insult, and it became fucked up. And then they actually switched the medical term because of that. But now idiot is like lightweight. But you know what I mean? And then like retarded used to be the technical thing. Yep. And then we turned it into an insult. Exactly. And then now it's moved on to another thing. And now it exists as an insult. So like it keeps, and like think rotating. About, you talk to older people, like they have, like in the way they refer to ethnicities and stuff, like they say words that were the actual word that was used at that time, but we've moved past, like someone saying like,
and that's what I was
he
trying
was
to get
an
across.
Oriental, and you're like, holy shit! Like,
I like that. To me, it's funny. Like I love dark humor.
Again, he's back in the hole.
No. I'm just letting you know, black humor is dark.
But
because for this generation.
But it's like the words change, and you're a parent, like you get involved in your kids and stuff like, and you don't keep track of what the words are, and then you pop back out and you're like, oh, these words are gone, so you should have an opportunity to clean up your language if you're told.
And that's what I do. But if somebody is around me and they make a joke, to me, because of the way I grew up, it's dark humor.
I hear it. Like,
it's not to be offensive to.
By the way, you did a great job bailing him out.
and just swinging it back.
That's what we do.
You know?
That's what we do. That's what we do. You know, let everybody know we have flaws.
Yeah,
I know my
as
flaws.
long as you can, these conversations I think come up a lot more than people realize because
Big
people are
time.
tiptoeing, but like it's important to be able to talk about them. We had Billie Dean Thomas on, and we're
She's
speaking
dope.
to them.
They're dope.
We're speaking to them about it, and it was like,
Let me see her.
but the system,
They're dope.
but the system was like the way we were talking about it. It was a question that people have behind the scenes, and they're afraid to ask, and they're afraid to mess up, and like they don't want to get snapped on. A lot of it is because internet shit, people will snap on you. But when you have these conversations in real life, it was dope to get that explanation, and you have to be comfortable, at least be able to ask for it. You can't be so eggshells like I'm afraid to even. But like, there's that fear, like if you say the wrong thing, you can have because people will go and like find all your shit, they'll get you fired, like. That's what I don't fuck with. The people that are just out there looking
to fuck your shit
for
up.
things to be bothered by and then to go mobbing, because that's an internet thing.
Yeah, that's an internet thing.
But also, like, that is a real thing about, like, once again, that's in a sense, our responsibility. We're providing platforms. So if I was to have like a Billie Dean Thomas, I'm gonna drive home because I agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Like, there's two sides. There's the people that are scared because you can get canceled, you can be trolled. People will sit there and drag you online all day if you even entertain somebody the wrong way. However, we're also human beings and we're in this industry. So it's like asking someone, for instance, what their preferred pronoun is. Like, you may see someone as something, but that's not what they identify as. Yeah. And that's important because that's like saying, hi, my name is Sam or my name is Sho, and someone being like, okay, thanks, nice to meet you, Steve. You're gonna be like, no, I said Sam. Oh, okay, no problem, Steve. At some point, it's going to be like, all right, bro, like, I told you what the fuck my name was, and you're still not respecting what I choose to be identified as. And we can even take that a step further where I say, hey, my name is Dan, and you see me looking exactly like I am right now, and you're like, Dan? Yeah, Dan.
I'm accepting it.
That's what I want to be called.
Don't be a dick.
That's what I subscribe to.
Facts.
And it's the same thing, like, you know, when you're asking people these things, if you're not scared to ask somebody their name, why would you be scared to ask somebody how? No, not even their orientation. Like, say, hi, or even for me, I host a lot of events, so it's like I'll see the list of artists and I'll ask them, even if for me they're presenting, because there's a thing called masculine representing and female representing. There are terms like that, and we should all in this room get familiar with stuff like that because artists are identifying themselves in different ways all around. So in order to not offend anybody, we should definitely do our research. But just because they may seem masculine representing to me doesn't mean that they want me to call them a him. They maybe want me to call them a she, or just call them. You know what I mean? I don't know these things, so it's not a problem to ask. And I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's a lot. I just think people are just not used to unpacking in this way. They're not used to having to think about who said it in this room, and they were like, I have to really think about Sam. He was like, I'm really thinking about what I have to say. And that's the challenge, right? We're so used to spitballing the first thing that comes to mind, whether it be witty or whatever. It's being called conscious, but it's also being mindful of what we're saying and how we're saying it and the ways that we're delivering it. That can take it from an instance of offense to just not knowing and accidentally offending. And that's the difference. And that's why I think people get pissy, is because they're like, well, did you accidentally do that or did you purposely? They don't know you to know the difference. So just ask the questions. I don't think it's that difficult.
Don't be a dick. Do you think you...
You know, people walk around all the time and tell me that they saw me dating a woman, and they said, you know, I didn't know you were queer, but like, that's cool. And I'm like, well, what the fuck else was I supposed to do? Walk around and talk about it? Was I supposed to tattoo it on my head because I dress very feminine?
I usually wait for someone to tell me, like to correct me, because I don't. Have you ever asked it gets.
So you're not supposed to.
I don't assume anything.
I really cannot wait, and the biggest thing I want is just like a universal pronoun, so we can revert to everybody.
It is.
And it's like a y'all, or like, so you can just generally refer to people, and then we can get specific if we want. That's the biggest thing to me, is we're heading closer and closer just being humans, and we can just be
That's
humans,
it.
and
Exactly.
we don't have to go into
We
boxes.
can just exist.
I would love that.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you
But
have...
people judge off of what they see firsthand.
Because
They
if
see
Billy
you.
Dean, if we hadn't, I never would have, if it wasn't brought up, like,
You just said they.
we knew, yeah, they.
You know, I thought it was a her. So
Right, and then you found out, and then now
I
you
changed
know.
that to
Exactly.
yeah,
So
information.
that's that.
Information,
And that's how
yeah.
I found out, and that's how I asked about it.
Yeah.
And someone corrected me. But, like, I wouldn't have asked off rip because I think that's just as awkward, too, where some people are just like...
I have
Like, if you've asked a woman who identifies as a woman, like, are you, that...
No. And that's the other thing. There's an etiquette of
And
asking.
they get super fucking offended
No.
by that. So I
You
wouldn't-
ask in an adequate way. You say, what
I
pronoun
wait to be
should I use?
corrected.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna always say pronoun though.
If you're online, you definitely, it usually says it in the bio, and it's worth checking before. But in person, I
Homework.
wait to be corrected,
Yeah.
and I never speak.
But that's why
with-
you just ask their name. That's it.
No, the name that can mean anything.
No, but you just you refer to them as their name.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
don't
that's
care
it.
what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sex
okay,
is.
okay,
You just, all right.
I
You
see
told me
what
your
you're
name is
saying.
Sho. You might
Yeah.
told me your name is Rebecca. I'm calling you Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
Period.
it.
I'm not gonna ask you anything else.
But that's being very conscious
Yeah,
and
yeah,
very
definitely.
mindful in the moment,
Yeah,
too,
and
because
don't
when you're
be a
asking
dick.
questions. Yeah.
So before we
It's
move
the
forward,
motherfuckers that are like,
I
I
just
don't
wanna-
care. There's only two.
yeah, that's
That's
yeah.
ignorant.
We don't
Those
fuck
people
with
are
them.
trash.
Yeah, trash. Those are
That's
trash.
ignorant.
So before we move forward, I want to apologize
Thank you.
because I wasn't trying to be offensive.
I know
you
you
know.
weren't.
So I apologize for that.
It's dope.
I wasn't trying to use the word like that. You know.
No,
but-
I appreciate
yeah.
that.
So
I
let's
do, but I also know you. But like I said, I would be doing a disservice to myself if I just sat here.
No,
and
definitely.
didn't-
I
and didn't
appreciate
say
that.
anything,
I
'cause I do care about you,
No,
and I know.
thank you.
I know that's not the
No, it's not
perception
my
at
fault.
all,
No,
and that's
no.
not where you're at.
No, not at all. So
This was a nice. I'm glad this
yeah,
happened.
no. Listen. I take all lessons because I'm a grown person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, so
You gotta unlearn.
I learned
That was your strike though. We catch you again.
you fucking up again, bro.
Yeah.
But
put
I
the
thank
word
you.
out.
I thank you for even just like saying sorry. Like that also shows like that
Compassion.
you understand what I was saying and that you received it. So I appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. I get beat down by it at home a lot. You know,
Word.
I am an ignorant motherfucker. You know what
I mean,
mean?
and that's okay. And that's okay as long as you're willing to be educated.
Oh,
on-
definitely.
on
You gotta read
things,
that
that's it.
Unlearn book.
I just bought that. I
Got the
actually just
audio
bought
book.
that
Yeah.
on book. Yeah, I just bought that. So
I'm
waiting
curious
for that.
about something.
What's up?
What place does political correctness have in like stand-up comedy? 'Cause I don't know if you guys watch
Ooh.
Netflix stand-ups, but these people get dirty, offensive.
I appreciate
They don't care who.
I
they're
don't
shooting at,
think
like-
Well,
comedians-
Kevin Hart actually, they were having a conversation about how dry his
He is.
stand-up.
I couldn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I didn't
did, it's
because
awful.
It's
I
awful.
well, also I'm just kind of like Kevin
No,
Hart should
no.
sit down for a second. No shade. It's just like I've seen him.
Don't
No
give up.
shade, but have a seat.
No shade, but have a seat. Like it's cool to take a break and have people miss you. I don't miss him yet, but
No.
I did hear, that his stand-up that's available now was really dry, and people were really disappointed because he played it safe with his jokes. He
Super
talked
safe.
mostly about his
Super
family,
safe.
but this is also a guy that got ostracized and like publicly outed for tweets that he did 8-9 years ago when his mind was ignorant. Like this is a perfect example of what I'm saying. Like people can evolve. So for people on like a mainstream level, like I do see people taking it safe. On people that are still like what I consider underground comics, they're still like they don't care. They have no filter because that's what comedy for them was for them. We have the Richard Pryors in a time, like Sam was saying before, this is different times. We're moving in different times. So I feel like
How do they adjust?
it's hard for them. They have to come. You have to be funny with using general, universal topics that don't necessarily go after a particular group. I feel, and that makes it a lot more challenging. And people would say, well, that sucks the fun out of what they do. And that may be so, but at the same time, like, you could also take a stance in what you want to do, too, as an artist. Like, that's your right. If you're going to say, you know what, I don't want to be politically
But you're
correct.
asking,
But
you're
know
asking
that you're
someone
not
to have
going to
morals,
be...
though.
But you're also
There's
knowing
no morals
that...
in money.
But this is what
No
I'm...
morals
With
in money.
comedy, I
And
think it
that's
comes
okay.
down to
But
It's
that's why I tell
it's
everybody,
still
if you're
choice.
making money, you're not thinking about morals. You
Yeah,
don't
money
give a fuck.
fucks it all
But
up.
Kevin
As long as-
Hart is thinking about morals because he's
That's
thinking
why
about
it's
his
dry,
money.
bro.
But
He's
that's
thinking about his
super dry.
money
No, but
and
listen.
the morals.
But he's making money, but it's not off his people because his people don't like his comedy.
Not anymore.
Exactly.
That's what I
No,
heard. Yeah, that's
because
what
the
they were
the
saying.
Kevin Hart I
The
grew up on,
demographic has
It's not for
changed.
us.
the Kevin
for
Hart I grew up
Hart.
on is
Hell
way
no.
funnier than right
Way
now.
funnier.
But the closest thing to him is that husbands of Hollywood shit. That's the closest thing to Kevin. That I like. All the new shit.
Facts.
I put it on Twitter the other day. I was like, it's dry.
It's dry.
I mean,
It's not for me.
I watched.
I respect it.
But
I respect
Nick
it, but
Cannon is
it's
making
not
a
for me.
huge career off of Wildin' Out, and he's not. Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon's always been Nick Cannon.
He's
So I haven't
always
heard.
been
I
PC.
haven't heard the
Always.
Kevin Hart, but is part of it because of?
Where he's at in life.
No, is it because he's like you can, like you said, you can do it without being offensive, but is it because you can tell that it's not authentic? Can you tell that he doesn't mean like it does? Is he lost
trying
his
to-
edge,
no,
and
it's
that
not-
you can tell he's holding back.
Yes,
He's afraid.
yes,
He's
because
not.
you know
so that's
he
different.
wants-
He lost it. He's not being authentic anymore.
Nope.
Exactly.
Like,
Everybody has
He's
said
being
that
told
though.
not to.
We've
be
told that
authentic.
before though,
Yeah.
because you don't want to.
But if
mess
his
up the
authentic
image.
self
There's too
is
much
like
dollars
is-
behind him
Exactly.
for
But
him
if
to
his
say-
authentic self is like being a dickhead, then maybe
that's what I'm saying.
like you wouldn't support that. So maybe
America-
He would.
Yeah.
His-
But
Well,
he
we
wasn't
heard-
making
we know
money
what
with
you
us.
support, but-
What?
He wasn't making money with us.
No, he
though.
wasn't. No.
Once he
That's
crossed
not-
over and became PC, he started making money.
Yeah.
So once you make money, all those morals come into play. Let me do this. Let me not do this.
But it sounds like
Let me
no
not do
one
this.
liked his new stand-up.
Because it's
No one.
trash,
It's
bro.
dry.
Yeah.
Because
It's dry as hell.
because you. The reason why you don't like his stand-up is because right next to it is the other 3 to 4 stand-ups that you can go watch previously.
Facts.
If you watch those leading up to that, you're like,
Nah,
this is
I'm
whack.
good.
So I like some shit that's on the edge, but I think it's like working.
There's still a
in
barrier
blue.
there.
They call it blue.
Yeah,
like I like
yeah.
so, but I think as long as you're not punching down, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? As
Yeah,
long
like
as
you're not
people
bullying
are-
somebody.
and you're
What
not
does that
punching
mean?
down. Like it's easy to punch down and like beat up on people that are
Could be a
smaller or
two-part
littler,
podcast.
or
It is a
like
12
if you're
podcast.
still making so like there's a way to make jokes about
Without
some of the
offending people.
topics we just talked about that are funny, but then there's also the same fucking trans joke that has been made a million times that's easy and cheap and like simple and plays off that. And if you're making that, it's whack. But if
Yeah.
you can do it in a clever way,
That's why Dave Chappelle's still going to
Like-
continue to make money.
Yeah.
but I feel like
it's
he
still funny.
even has been kind of
Bro,
like
he's
well,
hella
like,
PC now.
I
It's
didn't
still
like
funny,
PC,
though.
bro.
I
It's
heard his
still
new stuff
funny.
was good,
It's
but
funny.
I couldn't make it through. I watched the first like 20 minutes and I was like, I
Is
don't know. I don't
it
really
funny
fuck with
because of the
this.
joke, or is it funny because it's coming from Dave Chappelle? His
Coming from
voice?
Dave Chappelle.
All right, so the joke's not funny because you can't tell me a joke from his last stand-up.
No, I can't tell you. Not
But
really.
you
you
can
know
tell
it's-
the old jokes.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh,
I'm
hell
sorry.
yeah.
I didn't know I couldn't do that officer.
Real all that stuff.
Oh, shit.
You're on 3rd Street.
Oh,
So
my
you gotta
God.
unlearn stuff.
Yeah, man.
I feel
Thank you,
like
guys.
He's been
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
get us out of
I
here
just wanna say
forever.
one
He's
thing.
No, that's good. I
No,
don't
it's
care.
over.
I don't care. I'm just trying to catch
Over.
the dead air before it happens. That's all I'm trying to make sure.
I
I'm
just feel
trying to
like
catch it.
there's this philosophy in humor that you should be able to like joke about almost anything because that's therapeutic to some people.
Yeah.
Like you can find like I found myself like feeling sad about a death in my family or something like that, and then in the same day like making a joke about a death that was
Yeah.
if someone just like got in the car with me and my friend and had met me just a couple of minutes ago and I said that and be like, that guy's an asshole, but like it was just this thing where like you just made the joke because you wanted to laugh about it instead of cry about it.
You want to humor.
Is that
Yeah.
where
It's like-
satire, like comedy,
Exactly.
comes into
Yeah.
play?
People want to be able to like exit us that kind of political correctness space to just like, be able to laugh at anybody and
Consoling
loosen
yourself.
Right.
the
Yeah, I was talking to an Iraqi dude, and he was telling me, like, over there, like, their jokes are fucked, like, incredibly morbid. They're super, because they've been living around death and destruction and seeing people blown up in front of them for all these years. So their jokes are, like, all
Yeah,
about,
it's different.
like,
It's different.
fucking people walking home and
Oh,
having a bomb go off.
yeah.
But they
It's
find humor. The human spirit adapts to find humor to
Yeah.
get through those situations.
But that's why probably Sho finds the offensive jokes amazing because growing up in the urban community,
I think
that's all you do is
And
offend
There
each
was
other.
a thing called snaps, like
Yeah.
that you
Show
do,
has
like and
some,
go back and
yeah.
forth.
So
where
with
you would be
him,
like
it's
yo
like-
mama and yo mama jokes.
That's how I grew up.
But he
is
don't.
the
Sometimes he
culture
don't
we
realize
grew
he
up.
didn't turn it off.
I think he has some
Right.
things going on inside that he might want to look at. Like, I think maybe he feels like...
It's not a fucking intervention. Slow down.
Oh, this is an intervention right now. I like it.
maybe he feels like people aren't always listening to him and he can't speak the way he wants to speak.
No, it's
and
not that. I
he's
think it's he's
channeling
got-
it
no.
into,
He doesn't always have a woman around like Amanda who can correct him or give
I
him a
just
teachable
said
moment.
You think he likes
just
to be-
said
his
my
wife
wife tells me all the
correct
Nah,
time.
because she told you, you wouldn't have did it here.
I was giving it an
maybe-
example.
But if
Give
she
an
told,
example.
but
I was an
listen,
what I'm saying?
No, listen to what I'm
He might
saying.
have like a sort of discipline fetish or something.
Exactly.
Like maybe he's into being
See where I was going? Sam's.
I know they are.
Sam's.
I hate you guys. I hate it. They got me. They got me.
Totally got you.
They got
No,
me.
but I agree
Were you
with
hugged a lot as a child?
No. At all.
Okay.
That's why he's so rugged.
Okay.
He always calls me the sophomore.
It's either usually too much or not enough. So you didn't have
Yeah.
enough.
Not enough.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I
Alex, I like your
that.
question though. That was a good point to bring up. I think like
See, all your questions get that. I'm telling
And,
you, bro.
like,
You don't, it always
no,
comes.
like they are really good questions. They say the same thing with like death. Like if you see something traumatic, or even if you're in an accident, like supposedly the first thing you're supposed to do is go eat, because it's like almost
You
like
take your
telling
mind off of it.
It's also telling your body like you're still
doing
here
something
and you're
else,
present and like
That's
you-
hard.
you
Your
can-
stomach is like.
No.
pretty
Yeah,
bad,
but
bro.
it's actually the
Yeah.
opposite effect. You realize like how hungry you are even in the midst of
The-
like
the-
trauma.
Yeah, because when you're stressed, you aren't eating. You're,
Right.
Yeah.
It's
The human,
really
the
weird.
human mind needs
Huh,
routine.
we do that.
They teach you
Right.
Yeah.
You need
So
routine.
I think the satire comedy comes like derives out of that. It's
Yep.
like where just like you need to nourish your body with something after witnessing something
Yeah.
Yep.
tragic. You almost like need to
Fill that
like,
space.
Yeah.
Fill that
Yeah,
little void
with
that you
humor
have.
or something that will like kind of make it more lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's like a consoling, I feel like, technique.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't be a dick. Also, don't be thought police. We don't fuck with the thought police.
No.
There's a lot of groupthink. It's a lot of
Yeah.
dangerous shit. I was talking to my buddy about this the other day. Like, he's like, they're not even gonna need to take our rights away. Like, we're gonna
Give
take
them
them
away.
away
For ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah,
we going for it.
facts,
Yeah.
We're gonna get worked up about this shit, and we're gonna just do
We
it.
gotta chill. Yeah.
So the
man,
propaganda
definitely.
is slick. It's smooth. You don't see it.
You never
don't
see
feel
it.
it. You
That
don't hear
smoke
it.
screen is nice.
It's very good. It's very good. But that's a whole other podcast.
That's a
Yeah.
whole other podcast.
This is going to be a 2-part episode.
Yeah, we'll come back. Talk about that stuff.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Yo,
Thank you for
really
having
appreciate
us.
you
This
having
is
us.
a
Nah, this was dope, man. Y'all know I gave you guys a warning in the beginning. Battle the vibes.
Damn, I told
It's
him
not
about
coming through.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know we was going to be doing
He
that
told
right
us, so we got here and he goes, by the way, you have to have your hottest record ready and you have to battle us.
You know?
I thought-
And because normally is we just put Sam and I out.
Mhm.
You guys are actual music heads. You are
Yeah.
LFOD radio, live free or die. So y'all gonna get judged by y'all plays too.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be ItsLitBoston
You check over
versus
this?
LFOD radio. You know what I'm saying? There's two of us
Say that again.
and three
So
of y'all.
I fucked up and looked at my phone. What happened?
ItsLitBoston podcast versus LFOD
battle?
radio.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna play our joints.
Two
Our joints
against
are gonna be
three.
different.
2 against 3.
You
So,
asked,
yeah. We got the handicap.
I got you.
You
We
know what I'm
also, I realized I never answered your question earlier. You asked why people could support us or
Yeah,
why
yeah,
they could
yeah.
tune in. One thing we do is we never talk about anything negative. We strictly uplift. We're here to promote what's going on and what's good. And we're here very much for the scene, for the culture, for the community. And yeah, we're on that. So we're going to... We never say anything's the best or better. We really don't ever rank shit.
Mm.
You know, I don't really fuck with critics. I don't like critics.
But
It's
how would
so
you get better,
subjective,
though?
right?
Huh?
But how would you get better if you don't have a critic?
I
I feel like criticizing is subjective.
If you critique
I like-
yourself, are you actually getting better?
I
No,
like
other
criti-
people's music. That's
I
what
like
it's all
critics
about.
in the sense, yeah, I don't.
But that also
long as
sounds like
it's
it's coming from an artist standpoint.
I like critics
He
in the
doesn't want his
sense
shit
that
judged.
if they know what they're talking about. Like if I don't like something, I'm not gonna hate on it. But if you ask me why I don't like it, I'll be able to tell
So
you.
are
Why.
you offended
But-
if a rapper or a person judges your music and they're not a rapper?
I
like-
only really mind if they
Like if
give
I would
me
if
an
I would
opinion I wasn't asking for.
if I were to
I
critique
don't like
your
voluntary. If I submit it for a
Okay.
review and you tell me how you feel,
Yeah.
dope. But if like you're just like telling me how like out of nowhere,
Yeah,
like,
okay.
then you
I
want to
don't-
stay off Twitter then. You want to stay off Twitter because if you
Twitter's
get popping on
rough.
Twitter,
Twitter's rough.
they're like Sam, fuck an uncle. What kind of uncle
Nah,
is he?
dude, all my old shit, I still have the comments, but you're white though. Like,
Yeah.
and this,
Oh, that's
and that. I still
That's
have-
why we thought. That's why we asked. Like, is it harder for you in the rap community?
Yeah, you never did answer that, or the fact that you're from New Hampshire and you came to Boston.
Shout out New Hampshire.
You skated by it,
Grand
unless you slide.
To work with Boston artists, and it seems like most of the artists that you interact with are artists of color. So how has that journey have been, or like what made you decide?
She brought it
It's another new
circle.
podcast.
She brought it.
I mean, that's
Again, though, like a very long,
Nah, man, it's like, nah, he didn't let
question.
me skate.
Which part?
I let him skate, you know.
No, I have nothing to skate from. What can you break it into digestible pieces and ask it?
Yes. Okay, so you're from New Hampshire.
Absolutely, Portsmouth.
Which I asked earlier.
Yes.
Yes, he did ask that, and he also asked.
child.
He didn't ask. Is like what?
See,
made
he feels
you-
like people don't listen to him, and he lashes out with his language.
We're not going back to him.
Sam, you
We're
study
gonna-
psychology?
No, I peeped it though.
No,
Okay,
we're going
then,
back
okay,
to
then.
you. We're going back to Sam. So, like, what made you move from New Hampshire to come into Boston to create a platform that represents a lot of people of color in the scene, in the Boston scene? Why not just stay in, like, New Hampshire and do it?
So what I will say about that question is that question implies that I planned shit out way more than I did. This is all the result of me following energy and following past and following that was happening. So I was down here and I was doing music, and then I realized I was also, I guess you call it hip hop head or whatever. So I was like always just up on new music and hearing new music and looking for stuff. And I was like, why do I have all this knowledge and I'm not using? I'm like, it's like, wait, why am I studying something that I'm not putting to anything? So I actually had a blog early on, justhiphop.com. So we had that, and then I was like, so I was doing shows and doing things. And I noticed the one thing everyone wanted was radio, and they couldn't get on the radio, and it wasn't available, and there weren't platforms. There was like just fucky stuff. So I was like, I can offer that. Like, my thing is, the less that you give, you're a taker, you know? And I always try to be more of a giver than a taker. So I was like, what can I give? And so I wanted to contribute, and not just, again, with the entitlement artist stuff, like, well, I'm doing dope shit, look at me, like, you know, what do I have? So I started the program, and like early on, I was just playing music, playing stuff, and then we started. Bakari was the first guest, I think, and then it just built, and we went from there. But the reason why it's in Boston is because, and like our whole thing, hashtag like rep New England. Like, if you use that hashtag, we'll find your shit. We're looking on it. Like, I really think New England as a whole needs to be on the same page to really quote unquote pop or whatever. You look at, it's all very regional. Music is regional right now. The South is rocking because no matter if you're from Memphis or Atlanta or whatever, they all like show love and rock each other. And like Pimp C was big with that, with like pushing it. Like, they've all had statesmen who are like, yo, we got to get together and do that. So I think New England as a whole, but
do we need statesmen?
What's that, like gatekeepers?
No.
But
just
like,
people who speak up.
I think people are
Sounds
doing
like
it.
gatekeepers.
No.
Gatekeepers
But
are
like, he
really-
would rash you on a record. Like,
Yeah.
if two people were beefing, he'd be like, yo, Kiki and you gotta clean that shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Chameleon, why
Yeah.
aren't you talking? Like, and that would be on a record that was getting radio play. Like, he would, but so either way, so it's here because the fact is, anything that does get built is gonna get built. Boston has kind of got to be the hub of it. This is where people are coming and going. There's a little more activity. If you want to grab like a mainstream artist, they're coming here to do the shows, and then they can come through. So, but no, don't get me wrong. I've thought about moving it a little bit, like the hub, a little bit back, take some of this up to New Hampshire. But there's just more going on. Like, there's more. You know, people in Boston, they don't want to travel 20 minutes to go.
Can't say that. I'm from Boston. I'll travel.
There's
Spooky.
fire
Can't say
going
that. I'll
on.
travel.
Because you have a car.
Okay.
No, but no matter.
Sorry, I
People
don't mean.
travel on
He didn't need to
generalize.
generalize.
I don't mean to generalize
But
the
I have
people
to
of
correct
Boston.
them the same way you correct Sho. I'm from Boston. Feel me?
I'll let
And
My
I will
nigga,
travel.
I feel you,
And I will
son.
travel to
Get at him, son.
Feel me?
I would.
That's a bad assumption.
Yo, artists.
So anybody who's listening to Jake right now, ain't tuning in no more because I'll travel.
Artists in the comments, I would love to hear you comment how many times you have had a show in Lynn, maybe Salem, maybe anywhere like just outside the city limits. Like, there's shit going on in Malden. Like, and it's right there. And it's like, nah,
and
man.
Brockton and
Brockton's
Lawrence.
heavy.
And I'll be honest, like, I
Lawrence
don't
is
even.
far.
I don't travel
Lawrence
out
is
as
20
much
minutes.
as I possibly
So
can.
it's difficult. And Boston's not set up to be, it's not easy to move around.
No.
Either. I'm from a place where I can go, if I drive for 15 minutes, I expect to get like miles away. Here I can drive for 15 minutes and
Be
get
down the
around the
street.
corner.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand the system behind it that makes it like
You
that.
got traffic problems.
But
So that's why I'm here, because this is where we can get in the mix and there's shit going, and where we can level up, and we bring down artists from New Hampshire, we've got artists from Maine, from Vermont, and then like I think it just, and for us to grow, it makes sense for it to be based here. You know, that's where it's at, and we
let's
can reach.
try to get on. You ever heard of Annoyed?
Yeah,
You should try to get.
yeah, he's a Connecticut dude,
Yeah,
Hartford,
he's cool
right?
shit.
Yeah, he
I
can
fuck
rap.
with Annoyed.
He can
He
rap.
can rap his ass
He
off.
can rap his ass off.
He rap his
Yeah.
I was just talking about him with someone actually the other night. Yeah, is it Annoyed or Annoyed?
I think it's Annoyed.
Annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got bars.
He's.
Yeah, we don't. Connecticut's been like a place where we've had trouble, like linking.
It's
with
always
people.
weird because people who are in Connecticut sometimes are from New York.
It's way New York. They
Yeah,
tend to
they go to Connecticut
go
because
that
they
way.
can't be in New York right now, or they
Yeah.
can't at the baby mother's house, or baby father's house, and that's where they migrate.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they take the fans. Wait, who's that D Fly boy?
DC.
He's
The
from
Brockton dude. Yeah, from
but
Brockton. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
his shows are always in CT.
Okay.
When Lil Baby was there a few nights ago, he brought him out, but he's from Brockton.
Yeah, there's something in the water in Brockton though.
They're
I would
fire.
say.
Hey,
No,
they-
it's Boston people.
No, I'm
Everybody in
saying,
Brockton is from Boston.
Meaning like
No,
it's
that's
yeah.
not
You got
true.
gentrified.
No, as in it's getting lit with artists.
It got
In terms of
gentrified.
Mm.
Everybody who lives in the South Shore is from Boston because they've raised the rent to make them move South Shore. That's where the cheaper rent is.
That's true.
That's why the crime rate went up.
In Brockton?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
starting to reference
That's all.
shit that I'm not sure.
Oh,
we
you see,
can-
I'm putting you on shit that you don't know.
No, but
I feel like Brockton's
I
always
know
been like
artists
No,
from Brockton.
got crazy, bro.
No,
So
I feel
you're
like
saying
Brockton's always
Boston
been
made?
like
I feel like you're
People
I don't know
who are
if this
living in
is-
Brockton, people who are living in Boston in these urban neighborhoods that are gentrified now, they got migrated to Brockton. You
I'm
have to go
hip
to
that
the
people
South
are
Shore.
moving, but the Brockton artists I'm talking about are from Brockton.
Okay, name me 3.
3? Darius Haywood.
I know Darius.
Yeah.
I
He just came out
We
with a
had him on the
song.
podcast.
Just
We
came
had
out with a
him on all
song.
that.
Yeah.
actually just got hipped. The dude hasn't dropped yet. I'm gonna pull my Amanda move. Ricky Felix, keep an
Okay.
eye out for him. But then there's also Lord Felix out there. That dude Leo the Kind.
Dude,
fucking
Lord Felix, bro.
Giles is out there.
So my
like,
question is, if they're so popular,
Hold on. Let him finish his list of artists.
No, he only needed
I'm not
3.
stopping it.
He only
That's what
needed
I'm saying.
3.
Only need 3. But if those are the most popular artists, then why aren't they?
The dude
over
Brandon Torrey is from Brockton. You know that
here?
dude?
But I don't see him on any bills in Boston. I don't see him on any bills in Cambridge because those are.
That's not true.
A lot of those
Actually,
dudes, Brockton, because
Boston
Brockton comes
Music
out.
Awards
'cause
just
Brockton-
announced
Name it.
their list of
Okay.
artists to look out for, and I understand what you're saying with shows,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's not just a show that you can see artists are getting like wind of like what they're doing. There's also publications. There's a lot of journalists like WBUR you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There's
Their
people,
favoritism.
there's people with Dig Boston.
It's favoritism.
I don't believe. Okay, well,
I can give you facts on
okay,
that
Dig
favoritism.
Boston, Vonyland, WBUR, Boston Hassle. There are publications and the Museum TV. There are places. There are people in the city that are
Shout out to
trying.
Noble.
Yeah, shout out to Noble. Like
But my
that,
thing-
you can see these people. Like Boston Music Awards just announced artists to look out for. Lord Felix is actually one of those artists. And Optic Bloom is actually one of those artists. I mess with them heavy. Optic Bloom happens to have
Duphrase.
a lot
See,
of.
but then that's where you get on the fence of.
I have no idea where this went.
That's how.
That's how
Because
it
he's
goes.
talking.
Because he's
No,
saying
that's how it
the
goes.
artist you named, he was like, "How come I'm not seeing?"
But
Exactly.
it started out
bills?"
with him telling me that people moved
Well,
from Boston and
no. It
Brockton
started
and
with
made it
you
into
saying
a war
that people
zone,
from
and none of the
Boston-
artists from there are
No,
actually
that's where you're
from
wrong.
there.
It started with you.
That's how it started.
Time out.
Hold on.
Let's get it on. It started with you saying people from Boston won't travel 20 minutes outside the city. I told you we do. I'm from Boston.
Okay.
Native, born and raised.
Okay.
I will travel outside the city, but it also has to pertain to that music. If I feel like I want to see that artist, because some people will want you to support them, but you don't ever see them supporting anybody fucking else. But you want me to go to Lynn to go see you perform, but when Torre or whoever is from Brockton had a show last week, I didn't see you share none of that shit. So why should I travel out there? It's not because I don't want to. It's because you're not making me like I want to come support you because I don't see you supporting anybody else at all.
That's an interesting thing that now artists are. That's new because artists used to be just expected to be artists. You'd hear them on the radio, you'd hear them wherever, you'd find out them, and you'd go and you'd have a favorite band. When did you start?
Social media.
When did you start taking in music and be like, oh, okay, but they don't do certain things? So
social media, because that's why the fake pictures always came into part. It came into play when you take a picture with Amanda and you post that up when she asks, oh, people don't be supporting me. Now you post that picture up because that's your proof that you support her because you went to that one event 3 years ago. Okay. But you haven't been to an event in the past 3 years. You know what I mean? That's what it is in Boston. That's why I always say.
So you'd rather have artists going to events and taking pictures than being in the studio making music?
You could be in the studio making music and you could still go out and support.
Okay.
You're telling me that most of the shows that are in Boston aren't within fucking driving distance? You telling me you can't go support?
I'm telling you that people don't want to go to Somerville sometimes.
I've been to Somerville. I've been to Malden.
I'm talking about you, though.
But he said Boston.
Because this is the reality of how the crowds move around.
We're talking about a bigger... I can speak for myself in this, and I just got done telling you like less than 15 minutes ago that like even I don't go to Leominster or Worcester. I live in Dorchester and I have a vehicle, but I'm telling you, it's not about artists not wanting to do it. Sometimes we're artists, and like if we're full-time, sometimes we ain't got the bread to go out of these places or take a Lyft or an Uber to get to fucking Leominster or get to fucking Brockton. Brockton's a $40 Lyft ride, B. Trust me, I've had to do it one day.
It's totally $26. I go
okay, well, I've taken it before on a surge time probably, and it was $40 because I was like, damn, that's a lot. Even $26 plus to get in, that's another 10 or 15.
All right, but if you actually want to support somebody, you'll do it.
No longer good radio. Like part of radio is knowing when to cut the cord. This is it. 30 minutes ago, we're arguing about Uber prices.
No, we're not arguing about Uber. I'm actually trying to.
No, I know the point you're making, but it's
I'm just saying.
You just combative.
I'm not. No, it's not combative.
It's just hard for people to. Sam is right. Like most artists, they are in the studio, they are creating. But there are artists like Still Gold. There are artists like Still Gold and Oompa and Latrell G and Cliff and Cliff Notes and Red Shades and Brandy Blaze who will go out and Notebook P and Prescott. Prescott is amazing. He lives in Brockton. He's on public transportation. I don't mean to put you out there, Prescott, but hey.
Allegedly.
He's on the MBT. He can't. The event he wanted to go to on Thursday night, he wouldn't have been able to make because the trains and everything stop at a certain time. He would have been stranded out there, or he would have took a 2-hour commute to come for an hour show. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So instead, I'm like, word. I'm like, you come into the show. Like, I'm gonna personally bring you home because I know you want to come out here and support. You shouldn't have to worry about getting home after supporting a show that not only do you want to go up on the mic, but all your people are there. So there are situations like that where it's like people do want to do it, but they don't have a means of transportation that may be reliable or allow them to maneuver in that way, may not have the funding. I mean, there's a lot of shows I get invited to, and there'd be times that I don't even got gas money, like, to go there, to be real with you. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. So it's like, it's not about, support can look like a plethora of things, right? And I said that at the beginning. It could be sharing the flyers more than once. It could be taking the pictures. It could be buying the tickets and not physically being there. There are other ways, streaming their music. That's something that's not even public. Like, what if I'm not showing you? What if I'm home streaming all these artists I'm telling you about, but I've not made it to one show? Am I supporting any less than the person that's at every single show? We gotta get out of that mind frame. No, we got to get out of that mind frame of that, because not physically can somebody be there. If my friend locates to Japan tomorrow and she supports me and supports my music, she's gonna stream it, or she's gonna try to catch my show on live in some way to support, or be like, hey, Boston peoples, I'm in Japan, I'm not gonna make it to a show. There's other forms of support. So we got to stop thinking like physical body and physically being there is the only way.
I'm not saying physical body is the only way, but if you're an artist and you need bodies there to perform in front of, maybe you should go to other artist shows.
I see that all the time. I see artists at all other artist shows.
I do too.
I'm not saying you don't.
Tell the artists, like, if you are an artist and you are relying on artists to come to your show to sell tickets, you are fucked.
No.
That
Off rip.
too.
You want your art. You want the other artists. You guys want each other. We all want to be successful. You want them to have a gig. You want them to be working on a project. You do not want. It's dope. It's so appreciated, and it's dope to see art. Like I love going to those shows where you see the other artists. Like, oh, this guy's the real deal. Like, look who came out. Or this girl. Like, when certain major artists come in, and you see like people who. And you see who's been like, oh shit.
Like Mo Pope went to a show that had space cadets on it, and he was like, I'm blown away. And I was like, yo, like that's
and
dope.
Those
you know
shows
what I'm saying?
are cool to be at, where you're like, oh,
it's cool.
okay, the artists are rocking with this guy. But you want the artist to be a very small percent of or you're gonna be in the same spot.
I'm not saying
I hate hitting up like, oh man, like.
No, go ahead.
You know, I don't want to take them away from their art or their grind or their like. You want to be.
Sam, shut your ass up, nigga.
I'm not even talking.
No, but I'm really curious about this whole like Boston moved to Brockton and made it violent and.
I didn't say made it violent. I said made it more violent. Because people have always.
Y'all going somewhere else completely right now.
No, everybody's going South Shore because that's where it's cheaper. It's not
of course.
cheaper North Shore.
Come to New Hampshire.
No, nobody's going out there.
No, they should.
No, nobody's going out there. I lived in New Hampshire for like 6 months.
Where'd you live?
Exit 20, Tilton.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You were up there then.
Exactly. So I could see. I've been everywhere, walks of life. So I can comment on this shit. I've been to Boston and I've been to New Hampshire, but I know
probably a rare individual up there.
Definitely. And so I tell you, black people will not move to New Hampshire. Maybe exit 5, Nashua.
Yeah,
no farther than that.
No further than that.
Nashua's got a large Hispanic population.
They do.
Now.
Yeah.
They do.
A lot of my coworkers live over there.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I got this like 2-3 acre land.
I had to get used to the 2 lanes. I had to get used to the cops with the green cars parking in the freaking islands and shit. All that. I got pulled over. I had the motherfuckers drive behind my car.
That's
with
the
their lights
unfortunate
off.
thing is, as much as I love where I'm from, like DWB is still very much a thing.
Yep, definitely. Definitely.
There's a lot, but that's like a responsibility I have to like rep, like and try to bring it together.
We're
gonna finish that off air.
We'll finish off there because my computer is saying this is almost full.
and I don't want people to think I was slighting Latrell by not mentioning him in the Brockton stuff, but he is a Dorchester cat who now lives in Brockton, and he gets tied up in the Brockton
Jean
thing.
Elie, who is the brother of Issa Rae on Insecure, is from Brockton too.
But Brockton's wild. I've never heard music from Brockton I didn't like.
Stamps.
Yeah.
LFOD, live free or die.
Man.
Facts.
Y'all got your music ready?
We still doing that?
Hell yeah!
Oh, sure.
I want this. I love this shit.
Oh damn! This is a competition, right?
Yes.
So, like I gotta.
It's
throw in
Lit
the
Boston
song.
versus Live Free or Die.
Y'all
Radio.
first. Home court.
Nah.
Y'all first.
Nah, guests are always first.
Always.
Oh, that ain't cool.
What do you mean? That's
I
manners.
want to know what y'all are.
That's our manners.
Yeah,
That's our manners.
Listen.
The
our
least you
manners.
could do is you surprised us with this. We had no prep. We at least need
All
to
right,
know
I'll
what
make
we're
it. I'll make it
battling. Let
easy
us
for you
battle
guys.
back.
I'll make it easy for you guys. We'll let Alex go first.
Wow.
How is
No.
that easy for
Because
us?
I didn't say it.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Sounds like
Alex
hard for Alex.
dances, so that means he already got music in his head. I don't know if he got anybody from
I'm going
Mass.
last.
He said he had a country track. I'm actually excited.
He said he's playing a country
But
record.
see, now I feel like I'm just like throwing myself into a losing battle. If I'm gonna, and we're even talking. I'm talking about my friend's song that I love. And,
But if
and
you
I'm like,
love your
and I'm like,
friend's
oh,
song,
guess what?
if you love your friend's song,
What are
you
you
support it and just play it here.
Guess what? He's still getting his shit heard.
Facts.
That's what
That's
matters.
the whole point.
That's the whole point. The battle of vibes is friendly between us, but it's the main purpose of it
Nah, I want to
is for
body
artists to
you,
get their
though.
shit heard.
Just to get people's music.
That's
heard.
the main purpose.
Yeah.
We're fucking around, having a good time,
Yeah.
shooting shit. But the main purpose is for the artists to get their shit heard.
Can I participate in this every single week?
Every week. I'm cool. We're cool with that.
I totally.
We make
want
flyers
to.
every week.
Yeah.
I'm
let us know.
totally doing this.
We make flyers every week.
Because I feel like just asking me right now for the one song is not fair.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
need a
like
playlist.
I do. I'm gonna.
The
I'm
court
gonna
is
do
yours,
this
my
one.
man.
Which LFOD actually has playlists of us.
Really?
We do a recap
Alright.
every month of
Yep.
what we've been listening to for the month.
Yep.
Oh, let them know about that playlist I'll be putting out every.
I just said that.
You just said that?
I did.
Okay, good.
I don't
Okay,
need
good.
that.
Okay, good.
Mine consists of actually the first month was all Massachusetts artists.
Oh shit.
Ran out of space.
Yeah, I'm out of space, bro.
That's God.
That's
That's
God.
Nipsey right there.
We ran out of disk space.
We'll get you next time.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Y'all can make the songs and we'll make a flyer up.
Yeah, send us a song.
We make flyers every week now.
Put it on